search warrant anyway.
Right. No, I understand.
Just more of a protocol type situation. So that will be done, and there will be additional testing and lab results and everything else that comes back. And while we're on that, and you seem like a very well-spoken and very smart man, is you understand if your DNA is on there.
It will not.
If I touch his table and she swabs that table and submits it, it's going to come back with my DNA on it.
I understand
So if you've touched her...
I understand that.
Okay, but your DNA, if you're acting as dad, your DNA may be on her anyway. Do you understand what I'm saying? You live in the same home, do you touch her at all that day? You picked her up and you're doing CPR on her, right?
Yeah.
So your DNA would be touched DNA that's on her.
Yeah, but you would be swabbing her vagina or her anal cavity in order to get...
That's been done. Okay, so if your DNA is in there, it's going to look really, really...
I surprised my bestie with a birthday getaway in San Clemente. I wanted to do something that felt special, but also low-key and affordable. We love exploring new cities together and haven't been here yet, so used Vrbo and found this rental in my price range, super close to the beach and restaurants. We celebrated at the apartment by relaxing, watching shows, and enjoying cake. It was just what we needed. Whether you have a special occasion coming up like a birthday or just craving quality time with your people, Vrbo has you covered. Life is short and surprises are fun. Plan your next getaway with Vrbo and book today.
Invest like a champion with Hamilton Champions ETF CMVP and SMVP. Exposure to Canadian and U.S. dividend all-stars. Hamilton Champions ETFs. Zero management fee until January 2026.
I got him. You got him. Stay out here, dude. Y'all keep him out here. Yeah, see the body. See that? Yeah.
I've been lying what I think. I think you've been lying to me this whole thing. You did get them right. I think you're a liar, what I think.
Definitely did. You've got the freaking box. You've got the dead gun.
Man, I'm telling you, all I know is the guy told me that they were suspects in a murder case. The first thing that popped in my head was that gun. And I don't know what the is going on, but I want to know.
This is Samantha Wolford, a young mother, a wife, and an aspiring YouTuber turned ruthless killer.
Hey guys, I was asked to do a video 15 weird things about me.
She has arrived at the sheriff's office for routine questioning after her husband was kidnapped during an alleged home invasion. It was an unthinkably sadistic plot. The abduction of a young father and a futile race against the clock to find him before it was too late. Rewind approximately 6 years. Samantha, a single mother of 10-month-old twin girls, was just 19 years old when she met 23-year-old Ernie Ibarra Jr., who was known to friends as Dagan. The two began a relationship which soon turned to marriage, and eventually the couple had 3 children together. Although they were doing their best to get by in the small town of Mount Pleasant, located in Titus County, Texas, the relationship was already starting to crumble. It was no secret that the couple had their problems. However, it ended up escalating to a point of no return, and no one had anticipated things would end in such a shockingly tragic way.
Titus County 911, what's your emergency?
I have a home invasion. My niece is tied up. I am at the verge of untying my niece at this particular moment.
Okay, she's tied up.
She is tied up and gagged.
And gagged? Is that what you said?
Ma'am.
Is there anybody else there?
Where are the kids? We have 5 small infants asleep.
5 small infants asleep?
Yes, ranging from 7 to 1.
7 to 1 years old?
Yes, ma'am.
Does she know,
Samantha, did you know who the suspects are?
Can I talk to her? Is she able to speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? Hi, Samantha. I know you're upset, but I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Do you need EMS?
No, they didn't do anything to me. They hit me once.
She's advising no, they only hit her once. Okay.
And I just asked my aunt if it was bruising or anything, and she said no, they hit me in the face.
Okay, they hit you in the face?
Yeah, they had me tied up and they dragged me down the stairs to face my husband. And when my husband went in to face me, they hit me in the face, like backhand slapped me. And so he looked at me then and they said, I thought that would get your attention. And I want you to stare at this woman. Do you want us to kill her? And he said no. And they said to tell us the truth. And he said, I don't know anything.
When someone gives way too many details on a 911 call, this can be a warning sign that they may not be telling the truth. The purpose of a 911 call is to get help immediately. As Samantha is not currently in danger anymore, her primary focus should be on getting help finding her husband. Instead of requesting that officers be sent right away to search for him, she's telling an elaborate story about what supposedly happened. There's no sense of urgency in getting her husband found. If someone is lying on a call to emergency services, they may feel the need to offer up all these additional details because they want to support their lie. Samantha's love for acting isn't a secret after all.
I've always wanted to be an actress. I think it is so much fun. I've been extras in movies. I've had small parts in like short films, and I've done plays. I think it is so much fun, and it is so beautiful. It is one of the most amazing forms of art ever, to be able to express yourself that way. I think it's amazing.
Why did OpenAI back adaptive security? Because we've reinvented how companies train against AI threats. We deploy hyper-realistic AI attack simulations.
Would you mind sending over your username and password?
Launch phishing campaigns via SMS, voice calls, email, or plug them into Adaptive's AI native training modules.
Hi, this is Brian, the CEO of Adaptive Security.
Use our AI content creator to build new courses in seconds. And track your organization's risk plane in one secure dashboard. Book a demo today and take control of your AI risk.
When you live a global life, it can feel like your world is spinning, because it is. But it doesn't have to make you dizzy. Send money at the pace of life with the Remitly app. Fast transfers worldwide with guaranteed delivery. Remitly, trusted by millions to move money worldwide.
Members of the Titus County Sheriff's Office respond to the crime scene shortly after 2 a.m. Immediately, an investigation into the violent home invasion and kidnapping of Ernie Ibarra Jr. is launched. The following footage is raw body cam footage, recorded by Corporal Chris Durant and Deputy Ed Godoy, just minutes after the twisted crime took place.
Sheriff's Office.
I'm upstairs. I'm sorry, sir.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Here.
Are you still talking with Sheriff?
They told me that I have to stay.
She tell her you're here.
I did.
She still puts you on
She
hot
said
dog.
she'd still answer a few questions for me before I can get off.
Let me have it and I'll take care of it, and you talk to them.
So, walk me through what happened.
I don't honestly know what happened. I was in bed asleep, and we heard a noise, and the second I was able to open my eyes, somebody grabbed me and jerked me out of the bed and slammed me down on the ground and started tying me up and put a knife to my throat and told me don't move.
Okay.
They were punching me over and over and over, and just he was fighting back, and I was just letting him do it. And
What's your husband's name?
Ernest Ibarra.
Ernest Ibarra. Okay.
The officer is conducting a typical investigatory field interview at this point. However, these statements can be admissible in legal proceedings. The body camera footage can be reviewed by investigators and inconsistencies discovered between initial contact and later interrogation.
One of them did say the name Luke, but that's it. That was all. That's only in identifying anything I've got. One of them said, "Hey, Luke," and the guy turned, but that's the only identifying anything I've got.
Samantha changing her voice to imitate the alleged intruder may be an attempt to dramatize the attack in order to make it appear more believable. Although her voice is emotional, she doesn't actually express much concern about Dagan, and instead seems focused on telling the story about everything that happened to her. It's discovered that Dagan's phone was also taken by the assailants.
They took his phone, but they didn't take mine. I had mine hidden. So I was able to...
So he's got his phone?
No, they have his phone.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. What's his phone number? Huh? Well, I need that number. Get that number from me.
They cut my shirt off, and then after they made me stand there naked in front of him, threatening to do things to me. The guy said I can't do.
You were outside or here inside?
I was in the living room.
The living room?
When they took me to the living room, he said, "Get you a shirt and get it quick, because I'm not this type of person." So I started rummaging through my closet. He said, "I said get it quick," and pushed the knife against my throat. So I just grabbed whatever shirt and put it on. But he grabbed my shirt and he started cutting it. He cut it down the collar, and then he said,
"What's your name?"
"Samantha."
Samantha.
Wolford.
Wolford.
Where's that shirt at? Is it downstairs? What color is it?
It's gray sweater.
Gray sweater? Okay.
That's what I was sleeping in.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got the front door's been kicked in.
As he dictates details of the crime scene to dispatch, Samantha handles her own urgent business. She sends out a text message that reads as follows.
Hey, all right, this is what we need to do. I need to do an emergency phone ping on, yeah, and I've got the cell phone number.
The phone service company is immediately contacted in hopes that the position of Dagan's phone can be traced and lead law enforcement to his location before it's too late.
Was the spray paint already on the walls?
Yeah, somebody broke in over Christmas time, or over Halloween time, and did that. He's already been out here once over this. They cut his hair off. I don't know why.
Is that
his hair?
That's his hair?
That's his hair.
Okay.
And he said...
And you said also the pants he had on?
He said you're gonna want something of your husband, and choked a piece of his hair off and threw it on the floor.
And you said those are his pants that he had on?
Yeah.
Where's the sweater you had on?
I think that's it on the dining room floor. Or on the chair.
On the chair?
Gray sweater, it's got a cut all over it.
Okay.
I said I got another car pulling up. Let me go see who this is.
Due to the fact that I was dialing with my nose.
Hey, just stay out there for just a second for me, okay?
Can I go out there?
Well, let's get this checked out real quick. Because right now this is the most important thing, you know. Let's get this all figured out.
I don't see how me writing a statement is in the crucial hours of you finding my husband.
It is, because I mean, this may help you trigger something to help us, you know.
About 2:02 a.m. His cell phone ping 0.86 miles from a residence in Pittsburgh.
You know anybody in Pittsburgh?
Contact Pittsburgh.
Samantha does, in fact, know someone in Pittsburgh, as it just so happens. As the deputy continues to gather information from Samantha, the corporal speaks with Samantha's mother, Rosie, and Samantha's Aunt Ginger.
Sir. How you doing?
Just fine.
You're the one that found her?
Yes, she's the one that found her. I'm the one she called.
Okay. So she called you first?
She called me.
Okay.
Bound and gagged, and then she called me. We live in Winfield. Do we have any idea where her husband is?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
We pretty much take it all. Fridges and dishwashers and dressers, drawers, couches, mattresses, bed frames, concrete, things like that. Same day notice or 3 weeks in advance.
That's what you get when you hire professionals. It's good to know you're making a difference. We found some paper and cardboard out of the job and we sort through it. Instead of just throwing this stuff in the dirt, you're actually making sure it goes where it needs to go. That's a good thing.
You don't have to do any of the moving. It doesn't matter whether it's in your garage, your backyard, front yard.
All you have to do is point.
Book online today. 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
We tried everything, but Charlie still struggled with math. Then another mom recommended IXL, a learning program that really worked for her daughter. We thought, why not? Let's give it a try. With IXL, not only does Charlie get extra math practice and guidance, but he's also able to explore other topics and skills he's interested in. So if you're wondering if IXL is right for your child, I would say don't wait. You'll see a difference right away.
assuming it has something to do with people that would be part of circle. It's the only thing I could possibly put together is that it had something to do with people that knew.
Samantha says that the intruders named someone she knows as the reason for the attack on her husband. For this person's privacy, as they were never proven to be involved in the case, we have redacted their name throughout. Samantha will continue to bring up this person's name throughout the investigation. Samantha sends out yet another urgent text message at 3:19 a.m. reading, At this time, investigator Chris Bragg arrives at the scene and the corporal begins to bring him up to speed. Interestingly, the investigator is immediately skeptical.
So they've got a pretty volatile past, and we've arrested him before.
Yeah.
Assaulting her and the infant. Make sure she didn't do something to him and then stage the scene to make it look like something happened.
The investigator is developing what's called a theory of the case. This is the same theory of the case work that a prosecutor will do in order to paint a picture of the criminal activity, linking physical evidence, statements, and circumstantial evidence to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
He looked down and he had cuts on the top of his head, and they had him kneeling right here, and they cut part of his hair off.
After a brief search of the first floor, the corporal then guides the investigator to the staircase that leads to the bedroom where the attack began.
So they kick the door and they come up these stairs and get them before they're able to know what's going on.
Yeah, that's the only part that's getting me is how do you... They would have to either be familiar with the place to be able to do all that and know where they were asleep. And the babies are asleep in there.
Both members of the sheriff's office observe that the conditions in the home are not ideal for children to live in after viewing the area where all 5 children lay sleeping, though the body cam doesn't capture a clear view.
Pitiful conditions.
Yeah.
I'm not really seeing a whole lot of blood, though, for somebody that was pistol whipped.
The investigator proposes they have Samantha come upstairs to provide more specifics.
I haven't seen it or anything. All of that, I don't know what's going on with or what could have possibly got himself tied into something. This, what they kept saying, caused this, asking for compensation, $20,000.
Remember this. It'll be important later on in the story.
If you would just hold tight with her, so I'm gonna go get some evidence bags. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my camera and be right back.
Are you guys trying to accuse me of something?
No.
Her story immediately falls apart here, though Samantha's reaction is typical of someone caught in a lie. However, this is why all subjects under questioning should request counsel and refuse to answer questions. Police motives are not frequently known, though it's common to start with a large pool of suspects and eliminate them, rather than start with an empty pool and try to add likely suspects. This means you're immediately classified as a suspect or material witness until proven otherwise during the investigation phase.
What kind of gun is that?
The Glock.
Standard issued or?
Mm-hmm.
Can I see it?
Hmm?
Can I see it? Can you take it out?
No. Then I gotta do paperwork.
Really? I just was gonna see comparatively to the gun they had. I don't know guns, but the gun he had wasn't very big, or his hand wasn't very small, one or the other. It fit pretty closely to his hand size.
This is a very odd request given the circumstances. It's noteworthy that in the midst of Samantha's chit-chat with the officer, she doesn't appear to stress that her husband is missing. It's possible that this is her attempt to be friendly and distract the officers from the situation, since she may believe at this point that police may consider her a suspect.
What them kept saying, took someone from us. The only thing I can figure is they're saying like narked on someone. They said something about Now he's behind bars.
What time did y'all go to bed last night?
Around 11.
Just a couple hours before the invasion occurred. Next time, she'll have a different answer to the question.
I invited friends and family on a small getaway to try my new steak and fire-roasted veggie recipe I've been working on. The outdoor cooking space was incredible, making it easy for us to taste test and spend some quality time together. It was real easy to book. All I had to do was go on the Vrbo app, put in any must-have amenities, a grill was obviously a non-negotiable for me, and find the perfect space for my friends and family. I was excited to learn Vrbo offers rewards too. I earned 1 key cash for my next booking. Book your next special gathering with Vrbo today.
Luke, what's going on over there?
I'm doing the work. I'm doing everything.
You're way too scatterbrained. You are using way too many tools. You can get it all done with ClickUp. It houses your docs. You can share calendars. You can share files. You can chat with your team. You can video conference, and it's all powered with AI. Here, use ClickUp.
Oh, this is cool. What does this app do?
Everything.
Thanks.
How old's your babies?
The youngest.
1. You got 4? 5? They were in there squirming a minute ago.
So what is going on?
Investigators are doing their thing.
Samantha doesn't seem overly concerned about her children, but it seems she's already growing impatient with the investigation. Little does she know, this is just the very tip of the iceberg. At 6:10 a.m., just a few short hours after the violent home invasion and abduction of Samantha Wolford's husband, Dagan, she arrives at the Titus County Sheriff's Office in northeastern Texas. It's here that the disturbing story will start to unfold.
That's a crowd, and I'm going to go to sleep.
Samantha places a call to her mother, but displays almost no emotion during the course of the conversation. She appears very self-centered, and her behavior is quite strange for a woman whose husband is missing.
I'm going to stop eating. I'm starving to death. Biscuits and gravy, no sausage. Biscuits and gravy, no sausage, and french fries.
Samantha gives her mother a food order over the phone. It's surprising she has an appetite at a time like this. She lays on the floor, which is very childlike and is an unexpected behavior for an adult. Samantha consistently acts like more of a high school student rather than an adult mother of 5. Chris, the investigator, enters the room.
Have we heard anything?
We're still working on everything. You get your walking. Think for me.
I feel like there's something he hasn't been telling me, but I don't know what.
What's your gut feeling tell you?
I think it's something to do with.
What do you think would be going on?
I hate, and I'm usually right, and I hate that, but I have a problem with getting involved in things that you don't need to be getting involved with.
Samantha seems to be setting up a potential motive as to why the attack and kidnapping may have occurred. She continually brings up the same person in her speculations about what may have happened.
Has he been using any drugs?
No.
What about you?
No. And I can take a test right now.
This is a convincing statement, which can be a red flag for possible deception. When someone is being truthful, they're more likely to just provide a straightforward denial. However, when someone is lying, they often feel some anxiety about whether they will be believed or not. So they may add on these types of convincing statements to support their lie.
So have you had in the past used any drugs?
Me? No.
Never been involved in it?
It's interesting that Samantha states she's never been a drug user. However, David Smith, a former friend of both Dagan and Samantha, alleges otherwise.
Because there was one that come out there that drove a little silver Jeep Liberty. He was supposed to be some kin to her. supposedly. But I found out later from Jeremy Rule that he was her pill dealer.
Needless to say, Samantha's credibility is becoming increasingly questionable.
You remember about what time it was when you went to bed?
I looked up at the clock and it was like 12:01 and I was like, yeah, you've got to get to bed because you have to be up in 5.5 hours.
Sure.
Samantha says she and Dagan went to bed at midnight, contrary to the 11 o'clock time she gave a responding officer at the scene of the crime, as you may recall. Already, her story is beginning to change.
What's your first memory of what's going on? What's happening?
Well, I took an Ambien, so it makes it a little harder for me to wake up. And I have a prescription with me if you want to see that. But when I can't sleep, it's supposed to shut your brain down so you can go to sleep, but also make it to where you can wake up really easy.
Samantha gives two more inconsistent statements back to back. When someone gives inconsistent statements, it can be a red flag that someone is lying. After telling one lie, there are likely additional lies that must be told to support the original lie. It can be difficult to keep track of everything they've already said, so liars may get tripped up on details and give conflicting information. It's possible that after she made the first statement about having a hard time waking up, she may have been worried about how that made her look, especially being a parent to 5 young children. She may be trying to backtrack because she wants to be viewed in a good light, so that her story about Dagan is believed.
Of course. I remember at some point it was a little after 1, I saw the clock. Maybe on my phone. So it's still pretty foggy because it's fairly early to wake up after taking a sleeping pill.
Nothing adds up, considering she'd taken a prescription sleeping pill and was woken up suddenly. She shows little emotion and talks as if she's reading from a script. Individuals who've been traumatized rarely remember details in this way. Of course, this could be explained as Samantha trying to give the investigator as much information as possible in an attempt to find her kidnapped husband. However, the fact that Samantha has repeatedly given confirmation to the investigator that he can double-check her story, such as verifying her Ambien prescription, suggests that Samantha is trying to preemptively dismiss any suspicions the investigator might have about her story.
They said, do you want us to have to kill her too? And he said, no, please don't harm my kids. And they hit him in the mouth. Are my kids okay? And they hit him in the mouth and he said we wouldn't touch a child. And it flew out of his mouth. I don't know if it was a tooth or if it was just spit or blood. And something flew out of his mouth because they had the lights on down there. And that's when they started cutting my clothes off and making me stand in front of him naked.
The size of our clientele tripled by using Jobber because it was just that much easier to onboard new clients.
My business has grown 900% since using Jobber.
I love Jobber. It's absolutely transformed my business to 100% better.
Start your free trial today at jobber.com.
Sell my car quickly. With Clutch. With Clutch.
The manual quickly, everyone.
Thank me later.
This part of the story seems to be fabricated. The sweater she claimed to have been wearing had no obvious cuts.
She didn't recognize the voice or nothing about it.
I tried listening to everything. They forced him to tell me not to call the police. And he said, don't call the police. And they punched me in the mouth with the gun and said, that's not what I said for you to tell her. He said, please tell me what to say again. Please just repeat it. So they repeated it. And I couldn't understand what they were saying because they were so close to his face and growling in his ear. He said, Sam, don't call the police. I don't care what happens. Don't call the police because they'll come back and they'll kill all the kids. Promise me. And he was screaming at me. And I was like, I promise.
However, the 5 children nearby remained asleep through all of the chaos. The police, as well as Samantha's aunt, will scrutinize this assertion later.
I know you said something about some money or...
Yeah. He said, what do I have to do? Please don't kill me. What do I have to do? And he said, $20,000. You want to know what you have to do? Can you come up with $20,000 in the next 5 minutes? but he's kind of laughed.
Now, what did the handgun look like?
It was just black. I don't know anything about guns.
Could you know the difference between like a revolver and an automatic?
Oh, it was definitely like a police pistol. It was whatever those are.
Semi-automatic, so it wasn't a...
It was small, barely bigger than his hand.
You may recall that she had specific questions for the corporal at the crime scene.
What kind of gun is that? What kind of gun is that?
The Glock.
The investigator now shifts the conversation to a different aspect of routine investigation. It could very well be that this is where things start moving in an undesirable direction for Samantha.
Like you two weren't fussing, you weren't fighting, you didn't get out of hand, you didn't punch him, kick him, stab him, shoot him, nothing like that. We're not going to find out anything any different later once we get there, because the deputies, they're out there right now, basically searching your house from top to bottom for every piece of physical evidence that we can find today.
Anything that'll help them find it.
It could be a red flag that there appears to be a verbal and nonverbal disconnect here. She's shaking her head no while giving her permission for detectives to search her house. Partway through this statement, she switches to nodding her head yes, possibly realizing that she made a mistake.
Well, like I said, that's why I want to make sure, because we're going to be checking your phone records, your family's phone records.
Normally, when the police want to search something, the Fourth Amendment requires them to obtain a search warrant. Otherwise, the search is unconstitutional, and the evidence they obtain will be tossed out of court. However, the police can obtain certain types of records without a search warrant. For example, the police could get a suspect's call records from their phone company. Normally, this record will only show the police what numbers a person called and at what time.
I need to know the truth. I have to absolutely know the truth, that you had no possible involvement in this whatsoever.
No.
You love her?
I do. I wouldn't have gone back if I didn't.
What all are you willing to do to help me find him?
Whatever it takes.
But you don't know where he is?
No, I don't. I wish I did.
You're positive?
I'm positive.
You have absolutely no idea where he's at.
No, I don't.
Do you know who we can call to find where he's at?
The only one I can think is because they kept bringing him up.
But other than that, you have no
Other than that, I have no idea. None.
Her palms go up in the rogatory position, which indicates that she may lack confidence in her statement. Palms up while making a declarative statement is seen as a big red flag because it suggests the person is pleading with the other person to believe them and may be unsure in what they're saying.
He doesn't have any friends. I don't go out much. The one friend that I do really have lives in Sulphur Springs. I don't like drama. I don't like having outside chaos, so I just stay home. I'm just a stay-at-home mom.
Samantha continues to attempt to steer the investigation towards the same person she named. She portrays herself simply as a stay-at-home mom. However, her homemaking skills seem to be lacking based on the condition of her house. As the police observe, the environment in the home is obviously not fit for children. In a report later drafted by investigator Chris Bragg, who is currently questioning Samantha, vivid details of the terrible conditions in the Ibarra household are laid out. The rooms are unclean and unsanitary, with trash, urine, feces, clothes, and dirty diapers scattered on the floor.
I'm obsessed with making sure an animal is being taken care of the way it deserves to be taken care of. They're like children. They can't take care of themselves.
IXL is helping 15 million students succeed in math and language arts. On IXL, your child can stay on track or get ahead by practicing with fun, interactive questions. Whether they learn best with step-by-step explanations, video tutorials, or games, IXL is here to guide them. Backed by over 75 scientific research studies, you can trust that you're choosing the best educational technology. Hand your child the keys to success. Join IXL today.
Excuse me, have you heard of this company?
Yes, I've seen you guys on the street before.
We are going to come surprise you and pick up your junk.
Are you serious?
Serious. We are going to hop in that truck. We've got 2 well-dressed, friendly truck team members that are going to drive to your place. You're going to point, and these are the magicians that are going to make your junk disappear. So you just keep pointing and it all disappears, okay?
Call or book online today.
Chris describes the children as dressed in dirty clothes and appearing not to have been bathed recently. We pick back up as Chris continues to press Samantha.
And I'm watching this guy punch him in the face with a guy over and over.
How'd that make you feel?
Horrible.
So,
I was hysterically bawling.
so it didn't make you feel glad or
No.
there's torture in there?
No.
Because you told me that you felt good about, wanting to stab him, kill him.
At some point in time, everybody loses their temper, but have I ever acted out and hurt anybody? No. And you can look at my record on that.
When she says you can look at my record, this is what is known as a convincing statement. When someone is lying, they may make statements such as this that sound compelling in order to convince the other person. However, someone who's telling the truth is less likely to use convincing statements because the facts are on their side.
I have one count of criminal mischief, and that was because I tossed my keys to somebody and let them use my car.
Sure.
And they didn't have a license.
Now, when they cut your shirt off of you, was it violent or they just took their time and just...
No, they jerked it out and started slashing at it with this apparently dull box cutter, and then when it didn't work, ripped it off over my head and threw it to the side.
So it wasn't completely cut in half or anything?
No, they started cutting like they were going to cut it down or across, and the blade wasn't working, so they said and ripped it off over my head.
But as far as tonight, you had nothing to do with
No.
this? You don't know who did anything?
No.
You're positive about that?
Yes.
Well, what I need you to do for me is make me a list of everybody, friends, family, contact numbers, his boss, where he works at Little Caesars, his boss where he works at the Talcott Woodcraft.
The investigator exits the room and leaves Samantha to her list. A few minutes later, Sheriff Tim Ingram enters the room and tries his hand at getting to the truth with Samantha.
And this is why that it's very important, hon, that we want you to be honest, because I'm going to tell you what, the evidence we found on the scene, it's just not matching. I don't think you harmed this boy, but I think you know who did, because if somebody's going to kidnap him, why is there his blood in y'all's pickup? Kidnappers ain't going to use their pickup to do something with him and then put him out there and put him in the truck and haul him back.
In his pickup, his blood?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody,
I don't know.
it's apparent to me that somebody used his truck.
When someone is feeling especially anxious, their mouth and throat may become drier, which can lead to increased throat clearing, swallowing, or coughing. If any of these behaviors start or increase suddenly, it can be a sign to detectives that they're on the right track and need to question the suspect further. Samantha's cough here could be related to this. She may be panicked about the news that blood was found in his truck, and the cough is an attempt to reduce the discomfort and dryness she feels in her throat.
To take him somewhere after he was assaulted at y'all's house.
I told him that they got into his truck because they wanted his ID. Because they said they needed to verify 100% they had the right person, is what they said. I don't know if they were one of the people that hit him or not. They sent somebody out to the truck to get his wallet to check his ID. Came back in and said, yes, he is who he is, says he is.
Okay, well, that still don't explain why his blood is in that truck.
They hit him in the face like 100 times.
Well, no, but you said they went out and did it and got it. He was never supposed to be in that truck.
If they had blood on their hands and got in the truck.
No, it's drip blood. It's not.
It's drip blood?
Yes, he was in that truck. And this is what's going to look so bad is from your story, and this is why you don't have to be a suspect, and I still don't think you did it. I don't think you're strong enough to do it. But I personally, I think you're scared. I don't know if you had a boyfriend that he found out about.
The investigator is attempting to establish the existence of accomplices, and from there, the existence of one or more conspiracies.
I didn't have a boyfriend.
Okay. I don't know what the deal is, but Sam, you've got your kids was in the same room.
It's telling that Samantha says she's being as honest as she can. This may be another convincing statement. It sounds reasonable, but someone who's telling the entire truth likely wouldn't feel the need to make claims about being an honest person. In addition, Samantha's statement here may have some level of truth to it. She's being as honest as she can be without incriminating herself. Adding on "as I can" may be an exclusion qualifier, which allows her to tell the detective some of what happened while withholding information about her specific role in the crime.
There's just the whole layout of your house and the way you said they took him. It's just not making sense.
The interrogator is doing a good job of appearing neutral. Despite the evidence pointing to Samantha being dishonest with him, he makes it out as if he is on her side. The more she trusts the detective, the more likely she will be to confess.
Okay. All right, we'll finish writing your statement. We'll get it, okay? You need something to drink?
He left with my phone. Where did he take that?
Well, we've got a search warrant for your phone. That phone's gonna be ours for a while. Because the calls, every call you've made probably within the past year, we're gonna have to look at.
Okay.
Your text message, everything, so we've got a search warrant for your phone. Okay?
Okay. I'm telling you everything I know. I'm repeating everything they've said.
Okay. Well, just go ahead and you got your statement. We'll get back with you again, okay?
You can look at my record. I'm not somebody that gets into trouble.
Sit right there and told me the same story just like you're telling me. And, they tried to convince me. And in the end, when the evidence come in, they sat there and we knew all along they were lying. We knew all along the story was made up.
Detectives want suspects to think they know more than they actually do, or that they're about to find some crucial piece of evidence, leaving suspects panicking about how much police actually know. Investigators want suspects to feel the time pressure to confess, implying that it's in the suspect's best interest to do so before it's too late.
I surprised my bestie with a birthday getaway in San Clemente. I wanted to do something that felt special, but also low-key and affordable. We love exploring new cities together and haven't been here yet, so used Vrbo and found this rental in my price range, super close to the beach and restaurants. We celebrated at the apartment by relaxing, watching shows, and enjoying cake. It was just what we needed. Whether you have a special occasion coming up like a birthday or just craving quality time with your people, Vrbo has you covered. Life is short and surprises are fun. Plan your next getaway with Vrbo and book today.
Bar none, there's nothing else better than AutoTrader.
Knowing they're Canadian, I think absolutely is a cherry on top.
That definitely changes the game for me.
It's been around for 50 years, and it's still the best place to buy or sell a car. The answer is AutoTrader.
I will be the first person to come forward because I want it found.
So let me ask you something. How did you call for help if you was tied up?
I used my nose.
So they didn't take your phone then? They left your phone there?
They asked me if I had a phone, and I told them no. And they asked him
So
and I told him no.
How'd you get to
I
it?
wiggled on my side.
Where was it?
The room.
Where was
I was on this side of the upstairs, and it was shoved up underneath the edge of the bed on this side of the upstairs.
Who did you call?
My mother was the first number on my call list. I just used my face. And
So instead of calling 911 for help, you called your mother?
how do you press 911 with your face?
Well, how did you dial your mother with your face?
I didn't dial my mother. I just pushed the first thing that was on there. It had just happened to be my mom.
Although Samantha may believe this is a reasonable explanation, you'll encounter another witness who will tell the sheriff's office that they observed Samantha with her phone simply laying on her lap in the aftermath of the attack. Next, the sheriff wants to hear about what's been going on in Samantha's personal life.
Well, now see, here's something else I don't understand. Maybe you can help explain it to me. You talked about how much you love Ernie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But though you're talking to Brian, you're talking to Alan.
I'm not allowed to have friends because I'm married.
Oh, no. No, not that kind of friend. When people like you, No, do you think that's normal? For married people to...
In the world nowadays, in general, I think more people our age. I wish I could marry somebody like my dad. He's great to my mother. There's nobody else ever that could turn his eyes from her. He's the perfect husband.
Okay.
God knows I didn't marry one. He cheated on me more than once, and I think every once in a while to hear that I'm beautiful and to hear that I am an attractive person and that I am not the most horrible person in the world
it's nice.
This could be an attempt to not only justify her actions in talking to other guys, but it could also be a deliberate attempt to portray her husband in a negative light. She's hinting toward verbal abuse by claiming that he would tell her how horrible she is. This seems especially unusual given the fact that her husband is still missing. Most people would avoid speaking ill of a loved one who's missing or recently deceased. She may be setting up a possible defense if it's later proven that she was involved in his disappearance.
Did Ernie ever look at your phone?
Yes, all the time.
Did he see those messages where you've been talking to them guys?
Yeah.
What'd he say?
Nothing. He didn't particularly like it, but after what he put me through, he told me as long as I didn't bring anything home or do anything at the house, then he didn't want to hear about it. He didn't want to know about it. I told him, I'm not cheating on you. Yeah, these guys tell me I'm beautiful, and they tell me that I'm, and I go out to my mom's house, and I go to the bar, and I go dancing.
Earlier, Samantha claimed that she didn't go out much and was just a stay-at-home mom. Now that detectives are questioning her about the guy she was talking to, she suddenly changes her story. She may have given the first statement because it supported the narrative she was trying to weave, about how she was a homebody who didn't know anyone who could be involved in her husband's disappearance. However, now that detectives have evidence of her text with other guys, she needs to support this new narrative.
And yeah, I may have a little too much to drink and someone says, hey, can I have your number? And I may give it to them, but that's as far as it goes.
Samantha seems preoccupied with others recognizing her as beautiful, given her repeated use of the word to describe herself. This could be a possible indication of her having narcissistic traits.
Anyway, sorry, this little button came up on the corner of my screen and I pushed it. Now my lighting is different and it's making my face look all splotchy and I don't know that I like it. I'm a little vain, I guess.
A narcissist requires excessive admiration. She may have felt like she didn't get the recognition from her husband that she felt entitled to. So she sought out that attention from other men.
Hey, in your statement, you might want to just go ahead and write in there after you talk about what happened to that. You might just want to talk about and put in there that you have been friends with. Because who's to say one of these guys didn't set it up to try to get you where you're single and I can come in and get you and just use that as a ploy.
See, and that's what I'm saying. I may know something without even realizing I know something.
The detective is laying groundwork for the theme development stage of the Reid technique by suggesting that one of the men who was interested in her had something to do with her husband's disappearance. If she can admit to this possibility, it will be easier for her to later admit to having knowledge of it, and then eventually to her confessing that she was actively involved. When the sheriff mentions that perhaps one of her male acquaintances set this up to make her single, she grasps at this idea as another motive. She may be realizing her story and acting aren't going over as well as she'd imagined. Once again, she's the victim. It seems she'll do anything to deflect attention from herself.
In October, things blew up. He laid his hands on me. I put criminal trespass on him, not on his sister, because she was acting crazy and harassing me. My friend David Smith had talked to me earlier, said he might come by later that night. I told him it was probably not the best idea. Why? Ernie gonna be there?
Who's this David Smith?
He called in and reported that he was there. Then when he realized that I intended on giving him the chance to be the better person he says he's going to be, and to go through the criminal trespass or the anger management courses and go through and do what he says he's going to do, and I'm going to give him that chance out of home on his own without having a judge to force him to do it.
So Ernie's got a lot of anger issues?
Yes,
is he jealous?
severe. Yes,
Is he very
severe.
jealous of you?
This is different than what she said earlier about how Ernie told her she could do whatever with whomever, as long as it wasn't at their house. Samantha appears to enjoy being in the role of the damsel in distress, and having David Smith and these other men come and save her from her allegedly abusive husband. This is another example of Samantha's need for attention, which is common among individuals with narcissistic personality disorder.
Yes. David Smith hit him up because me and him had been hanging out. I hadn't intended on ever hearing from Dagon again, Ernie. I had never intended on speaking to him again. He cheated on me and he laid his hands on me. I was done. Well, his sister talked his way back in, and he said he loves you, blah, blah, blah. He wants to be with you. Well, I was on a Skype conversation with him, and David was at the house, and he heard it.
What did he do?
He got freaking furious and started freaking out on me and treating me like crap and threatening me. David, this guy that was a friend and only a friend, wanted to be with me. And when he realized that I had intended on going back to my husband, he freaked out.
I need to find out where David lives. If you say he lives close to you, I need to find out where he lives at. Rita? Hey, there is one other way that we can make absolutely sure and clear you. We can give you a polygraph test.
Would you mind me speaking to my mother before I completely agree to that?
Well, but now if you have nothing to hide, why would you want to talk to your mama?
Because it's nothing against you personally, but just cops in general. You hear such negative things and how they are not out to help you, and CPS is the same way, and I just kind of want to get my mom and dad's opinion on if it's in my best interest.
You know what? You know what I think? I think it's not going to be long. I think they're locking your butt up, what I think. I think you've been lying to me this whole thing. You did get them right. I think you're a liar, what I think. I think you know exactly who did this, and I don't buy your freaking story for a minute. That's what I think. So I tell you what, let's do. Let's just get on with it.
It seems that the interrogator's anger is an intended tactic here. It evokes the desired reaction from Samantha, but it can also be a setback to the overall interrogation's progress. Any trust created is now gone. This is a change-up used only when there is overwhelming evidence against the suspect. Hearing this, Samantha may be experiencing the freeze response here. Her body is completely still, with her mouth hanging open. When someone senses danger, such as Samantha realizing here that police don't buy her story one bit, they may cease all movement. This is an instinctual response to danger. Movement invites attention, so freezing may make someone momentarily feel like they can lower the spotlight on them.
That's why I say I've tried to really be honest with you.
And that's why
I feel that you have done nothing but sitting here this whole time. If I'm gonna tell you right now, DPS is ain't good to them if you ain't got nothing to hide. And what bothers me is you even hesitate to take that knowing it would positively clear you or to positively show that you're hiding something. But what's going to make you guilty is when we prove that you lied to us in here.
The sheriff indicates that lying will essentially make her guilty. This is somewhat misleading. Though, as stated previously, the police are legally allowed to mislead suspects so long as they do not coerce them into a confession. Nevertheless, the inconsistencies between Samantha's statements and the evidence could be used to suggest that she is aware of her own guilt and is using lies to cover it up. Therefore, the investigator is trying to establish knowledge of guilt, or more commonly referred to as consciousness of guilt. This is most often established by circumstantial evidence related to the suspect's actions or inactions after a crime.
That is the case that I do know who did it and why they did it.
Okay.
Doesn't that make me like an accomplice?
Nope, it sure don't. No, that makes you a scared mother with children.
Interestingly, Samantha asked the sheriff about being an accomplice. The law usually treats accomplices just as it would principals, meaning that accomplices can face exactly the same legal penalties. Most states hold a person criminally liable if they aid or abet another in the commission of a crime. The classic example of this is a getaway driver for a bank robbery. Importantly, this is a distinct concept from conspiracy. A conspiracy is when two or more people make an agreement to commit a crime, and at least one individual within the group takes some overt act towards committing the crime. In such a case, all conspirators are criminally liable for the conspiracy.
The only other thing I know, and I don't even know, I know,
okay,
but it's a suspicion.
Okay.
I've been up at the hospital with my friend Charlotte.
Okay.
And she's got a guy there, and I swear to God, I cannot go up there that I said any of this.
Okay.
Because they have a lot of friends around here, and my life will be in a lot of danger.
Okay.
But the only other thing I know is venting to her, talking to her about problems. Like I just told you, I have a problem with talking to my friends about our problems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have many of them. So when I do get with one of my friends, I want to talk about
Okay.
any problems we might have had. And honestly, lately it hasn't been many.
Okay.
We have had problems in the house, and I haven't seen Charlotte in a long time.
Okay, go on with it.
And she's got this guy in the room with her, and he gets to talking about how a man shouldn't treat a woman that way, and how you don't do those things to a person, and he's gonna deal with the situation. I didn't take him seriously.
Okay, you see, Sam, you know who did this, but that does not
But
make
I
you
don't
guilty.
have any proof that he did. I just have what he said.
Okay, who is this guy?
His name's John.
John who?
His Facebook is Rebel, John Rebel. It's John, I don't truly know his last name, but his Facebook says John Rebel.
At this point, it seems Samantha's crying could be attributed to the fact that her story isn't yielding the results she'd hoped for, rather than because Dagan is missing. This behavior is consistent with her narcissistic tendencies. At this time, Samantha first mentions an acquaintance known as John Rebel. Herein begins a turning point in this complex story, as a new persona begins to evolve.
He's got a brother named Greg. He's got a really bad history as far as...
Who's Greg?
I was told he's an informant. I don't know Greg's last name
Where does
either.
John live?
I don't know. I know that he's been staying with Charlotte.
So if he did this, who do you think he'd bring with him?
I don't know any of his friends. But yesterday at the hospital, he had a guy that I do know from town with him. His name is Tay.
Who?
Tay Rhymes.
Samantha is beginning to let all of the cats out of the bag. In just a few short minutes, she's implicated John Rebel, who will soon be identified as John Sanford, and Tay, whom investigators will learn is a man by the name of Octavius Rhymes. The pace of the investigation is beginning to accelerate and will continue to pick up speed as the disturbing details begin to surface.
Did they do something to let you know that there was them inside that house?
Not 1,000% particular, but I'm pretty sure it was him. The height and the weight and the way he was talking all gangster.
You pull yourself together and get to writing, and we need to arrest these folks and keep them off the street where they can't hurt you and your children.
There was a third person with them.
Okay, who do you think it was?
He's got people that stayed with him.
John Rebel?
When they were in the hospital together. Before this happened at my house.
Yes?
Tay was with him. There was another guy, I don't know his name, but he pretty much fits the bill of the third guy.
There was three people?
Yes, at the house there was 3 people. And at the hospital yesterday, you can look at the cameras, there was 3 people.
So they have them on the video camera there at the hospital?
At the hospital, yes.
Okay.
There was Tay and that guy and this third party. The one that I said was basically like the ringleader that was bossing everybody around. The other 2 really didn't talk much other than a word here and there. But it was the big guy, the third party that was at the hospital.
She claims not to have known the third man at the hospital, but she's prepared to shift all of the blame in his direction.
The only thing I know about the heavy-set dude is they called him JoJo, but they told me that wasn't his name. I believe they said it was Jose.
Samantha reveals quite a bit about this third person. Samantha gives a detailed story about where JoJo lives and knows that everybody calls him JoJo, despite saying just moments ago that she just met these individuals. Also, another significant item to note. Do you recall when the corporal at the scene learned of a ping on Dagan's phone from dispatch?
There's something seeing 0.86 miles from a resident in Pittsburgh.
He asked Samantha if she knew anyone in Pittsburgh, and she had no reply. Well, it turns out she did. Tay and JoJo were both residing in Pittsburgh. She heads out for a smoke break as members of the sheriff's office prepare to head to the local hospital, determined to intercept 2 suspects that have been frequenting Charla's room for days. Both John and JoJo were apprehended at the hospital at 9:39 a.m. As you'll see, each interrogation will be damning, to say the least. The clock now reads 10:10 a.m. The other party that was picked up at the hospital by the sheriff's office, a man by the name of John Sanford, a.k.a. John Rebel, is seated in the interrogation room. He's dressed in black pants and a black long-sleeve shirt. The clothes match Samantha's description of the assailant's dress provided to law enforcement. Clearly, John is quite comfortable here. He may be thinking that if he engages with law enforcement, they'll believe him or go easy on him.
You know what this is about, buddy. You know exactly what it is. You know what happened over at Samantha's house last night. That's what we want to talk to you about, okay? I'm on Randize. You know you're right. You don't have to talk to me if you don't want to, and that's fine. I hope you decide to, because I think there's some things you're probably going to need to tell me. Your side of the story. They see it's going to match Samantha's. Because Samantha, you know, I'll be honest with you, she pointed the finger at JoJo. She said he was with you. Now, do you want to talk to me just a little bit about this?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me tell you what they're saying first. Because I think you'll be honest, because our bear's dead. He's dead. But now, according to Samantha, you was just a bystander. Why, JoJo beat the living crap out of him up in his room when y'all were collecting evidence.
Anytime there are multiple suspects involved in a crime, police will want to separate them as soon as possible, so they don't have a chance to get their stories aligned. Police may often plant the seed of doubt that the others are implicating them, leaving each suspect with the decision dilemma of whether to confess or remain silent. The detective is also utilizing a Reed technique here of placing blame on an outside source rather than on the suspect himself. This will make it easier for John to admit his involvement because the detective is building the theme that John was just a bystander and not the main perpetrator. Additionally, in this situation, it's likely that there are no real bystanders from a legal standpoint. Under a theory of accomplice liability, if the prosecution can prove that John aided or abetted the murder of Dagan, John would be in the same legal jeopardy as the person who pulled the trigger.
Okay, this all started yesterday, like you said. Yeah, we talked to her about her problem with her husband and all that. Never did I plot to kill the guy. I have a problem with males hitting females.
And I do too.
She did say that there's been times it's crossed her mind to do stupid shit, this and that.
Like what?
Like, basically, like, get somebody to them off. Like, not kill them, but like just beat the out of them, set them up, shit like that, right? And I told her, I said, well, damn. I said, you're talking to somebody that could do that, but I wasn't going to, though.
You have to do trainings, you have to take the fear away. I think the same applies now for AI. You just need to give people environments where they can experiment, where they can try out, where they feel safe.
John now begins his account of the previous night, beginning with a quick stop at Samantha's house.
JoJo had the keys. He was passenger seat.
In front?
Yeah, passenger.
Who was driving?
I drove because...
Okay. Who was with you?
It was me, JoJo, and the dude in the back seat I have never seen a day in my life. Except for, I do know...
What's his name?
All I know is he was related to Tay.
Yeah, because I think I know who he is.
John indicates that someone related to Tay was in the back seat, and that Tay wasn't with the three of them in the car.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I have seen them because I have been running around Pittsburgh, but unless they live on Cypress Street, I don't know who they are.
Okay, I got you. Okay, well, go ahead. Y'all all three together.
So...
You was driving, but you didn't have the keys.
Didn't have the keys, and I really didn't have a choice because I like my life.
John seems to be trying to suggest that it was actually JoJo who was directing the scheme, and now seems to be implying that JoJo threatened him into driving. Notably, duress can be a defense to some crimes. However, it's typically not a defense to the crime of murder. John gives his rendition of what occurred at the Ibarra home.
They go in, I'm the only person that knows the layout to the house. So JoJo asked me, like, where they sleep at? And I just walked up, stopped, and told them, man, look, upstairs. They didn't go up. I have to go up in the middle. It was JoJo, me, and then the last dude. We go up. And that's when all hell breaks loose. Beat the living hell out the dude. Honestly, me personally, I do not believe Samantha really had a hand to play in it. I think that what she was saying just kind of got took too far.
Okay, so what happened? Who beat the hell out of him?
JoJo and the other guy.
John is awkwardly using his hands as he talks, despite being handcuffed. People may increase their use of illustrators to make their lies sound more believable or give off the impression that their story is true. Jose Jojo Ponce is in the hot seat. Needless to say, things aren't looking good for Jojo, who's now dressed in orange prison attire.
Jonathan is really he's putting this whole thing off on you. And said that you're the one that wanted to go in there, and he kept saying that you said something about like maybe you had a bad dope deal that went bad.
I don't even know. Matter of fact, I specifically told them when she told me who her husband was, right there in Octavius' house. When she told me his name, I told her. I don't even know who they are. I don't even know him.
Jojo said, well, what do you think you can do? You think you can come up with 20 grand in 5 minutes?
John mentions that Jojo demands Dagan produce $20,000 within 5 minutes if he wants to fix things. This is almost exactly what Samantha told the police. This could be because it's true. However, if you watch Samantha's interrogation footage, it's clear that she's trying to paint the incident as drug-related.
Cause this. Asking for compensation, $20,000.
And this may simply be a story that the group concocted to tell the police.
Jojo tells me, all right, stay here and watch him. Dude's out cold. I'm talking about folded up, basically like literally like this, on the ground. When we got outside the house, they had him up against the truck, and still behind the back, had his face down like this.
What part of the truck?
The hood of the truck.
Okay, that makes sense. That's where, okay.
The investigator catches himself here, just before he almost lets out a piece of evidence. Retaining key evidence is a way to corroborate testimony, and also to tie physical evidence to one or more suspects.
They went through the truck. And at this point, when I started thinking, damn, what the really going on? Because they put the dude in the back seat. So we go. What do you mean? As we're going, they tell me, all right, go here, whoa, I'm driving. We go all the way out to the country. Get out to the country. Next thing I know, they walk off. They're all like, go start the vehicle. Go start the vehicle, he throws me the keys. So I'm like, what the So I start running back to the vehicle, and in my mind process, this is my neck of the woods now.
So you know where you're at?
Yeah, this is my neck of the woods.
We're fixing to go out there, me and you. We're going back out there. Because everything you're saying so far is matching 100%.
Before I finish the vehicle, all I hear is pop.
Who's got the gun?
Jojo does.
Note that John is named Jojo as the trigger man. As you'll see, there won't be a consensus when it comes to this brutal aspect of the crimes.
Walmart vous aide à passer plus de temps au chalet cet été. Profitez de 10 $ de rabais sur vos 4 premières commandes en ligne, à cueillette ou livraison. Utilisez le code promotionnel ET40. Des restrictions s'appliquent. Précision à walmart.ca.
Hey, listen, man, everybody's done point the finger at you as being the one that pulled the trigger.
That's what I'm saying, dude, and I didn't.
Who pulled the trigger then?
Jonathan.
Despite claiming that John pulled the trigger, there are still at least 2 ways in which Jojo could still be criminally liable for the murder. First, under a theory of accomplice liability, if the prosecution can prove that Jojo aided or abetted or had the requisite intent for John's murder of Dagan. Second, if the prosecution can prove that Jojo had entered into an agreement with Samantha or John to carry out the murder, he could be charged with conspiracy to commit murder. The sheriff seems satisfied that he's gathered all pertinent information from John. He leads John out of the room. The next task is the somber duty of locating and recovering Dagan's body. Sheriff Tim Ingram and investigator Aaron Baxter, along with their helpful suspect, John Sanford, depart the sheriff's office as Chief Deputy John Livingston follows closely behind in Aaron's vehicle. Aaron wears a body camera to document the events that are about to transpire. Be forewarned, things are about to take a drastic turn for the worst as members of the Titus County Sheriff's Office begin to uncover the true horrors that occurred earlier that very morning.
Well, you think Cuz went to bed after all this? You think he's home in bed? I honestly don't know. Who will know who Cuz is other than in case the crib talk to me? Who's gonna know this guy's getting quick before he tries to do anything?
Almost anybody in Pittsburgh that really.
Well, is that his name? Is that what everybody calls him, Cuz?
The sheriff asked John, who will be able to identify the mysterious third party, known to us only as Cuz, will soon learn his true identity.
Yeah, see the body. See there? Yeah. That's him. Definitely did. Okay. What we need to do now, oh yeah, he's dead. He's not gonna be alive. What we need to do now is two of us need to break off and take him and use the recorder, and let's go get that gun.
Sadly, Dagan's body is located at 11:28 a.m. Aaron places a call to the Camp County Sheriff to alert him of the murder within his jurisdiction. Meanwhile, back at the Titus County Sheriff's office, an anxious and fidgety Samantha has returned to the interrogation room. The clock now reads 11:45 a.m. It seems Samantha hasn't been informed that Dagan was located, deceased, approximately 17 minutes earlier. While the members of the sheriff's office are locating the potential murder weapon, Samantha occupies herself by writing on the dry erase board in the interrogation room. Just as Samantha leaves the room as the clock reads 11:58 a.m., Aaron's body camera recording resumes. The sheriff, John the suspect, and the two investigators, Aaron and John, head to the home where the gun is believed to have been stashed. Note that the woman seated on the front step of the home is Lakona Slayton. Her connection to the case will be revealed to you shortly.
Okay, I'll stop. Hey,
What?
thank you. I appreciate you, man.
I need
Won't take us but a minute. We'll be done.
They know everything. Like Thursday.
Hey, John. Where's that gun at?
It was out here, but it's apparently not out here.
Who got it?
I don't know. Y'all arrested me.
Why ain't it out here?
I don't know.
BS in that.
No, I swear to God, I don't know.
the box, and the box is
I
empty.
in a lockbox.
So you already knew the gun was involved?
No, she has no
I didn't
clue.
know about
She has no clue about nothing. I'm telling y'all that now.
So
I have. She has no clue about nothing.
here's the deal, all right? We need the gun. You could be charged with the same thing.
She was.
I
not
know
here.
what the.
You could be an accomplice to murder, capital murder. That's the death penalty. So if you know where the gun's at,
She knows where the gun's at.
you
She
need
got the
to
box.
you need to go
I
ahead and
don't
tell
know where
us.
the gun's at. I just told you that.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one more opportunity.
Dude, you can
Give me the gun.
handcuff me. I don't know where the goddamn
that's probably
gun's
fixing to
at.
happen. That's probably about to happen because I think you're a liar.
I don't
You've
give a
got the
damn.
freaking box. You've got the dead gun.
Where'd the gun go then?
I don't
So
know.
why'd you get the box?
I don't care, man. I didn't do
That you must be about as low life as that husband of yours.
He ain't f***ing husband.
Well, you with him. About the same thing.
Whatever.
The sheriff and Lakona are referring to JoJo here.
What's that? Oh yeah, you remember enough to come home and get that box, that gun in it, don't you?
No, I remember to come home and check the f***ing box.
So the gun's not in the tent?
I don't know. Go check the f***ing tent. I don't know.
Is it okay if I check the
Yes,
tent?
it is okay.
Okay. And where's it at?
Right behind the house.
Okay.
After a dramatically heated exchange with Lakona, the sheriff and Aaron head to the tent, which currently serves as Lakona's home, to attempt to locate the gun. A search in this case does not require a warrant. When someone with a controlling interest gives permission to search a premises, including a tent, it's an exception to the warrant requirement. Back at the sheriff's office, Samantha is again writing on the dry erase board. As a couple of written questions are directed at the sheriff's office, she continues to put on a show. These behaviors are once again very childlike and immature. Oftentimes, individuals with personality disorders will display immature behaviors. In high-stress situations in particular, they often regress, and these behaviors become much more evident.
Traveling solo is an adventure, but there's one thing that shouldn't be a part of your journey: losing your connection.
Olafly lets me get online instantly. There's no need to connect to public Wi-Fi, which saves me time and keeps my data safe.
With unlimited data in over 200 destinations, traveling solo doesn't mean being disconnected.
That's why I use Olafly, because they go with me wherever I go. Olafly, peace of mind, always. It's so simple.
There you go, right there, I bet you. See the dope or the gun? The gun. Well,
Computer had his gun. Why the hell would I tell you to go look in the tent?
it wasn't in the tent.
Well, I don't know where the...
All we want is the truth.
Man, I'm telling you, all I know is the guy told me that they were suspects in a murder case. The first thing that popped in my head was that gun. It was not in the box where it was always at, and I don't know what the is going on, but I want to know.
Okay, well, just like the other officer told you, we're investigating a murder. All right? There was a guy killed last night. He was executed. He wasn't supposed to have it, was he?
No.
Convicted felon or...
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, you know, that guy's got a family, and they're going to want to know what happened to their son and father. I mean, the guy's got kids, young kids. And so we just want to, we're just trying to gather the facts up and get justice for this guy's family. Is there anything that you can tell me at this point that would help us with our investigation?
Other than that, if I think he would have did something like that, yeah, because he's pulled it on me before.
He's pulled the gun out on you before?
Yeah.
All right.
I know I've prayed, but damn, I didn't think I was gonna split up with him like this.
This important piece of information, which was uncovered due to the officer's catch-all question, may explain why Lacona didn't reveal the gun's location. It's possible that if she did know where it was, she kept the location secret for a much different reason than avoiding trouble herself or protecting someone else. Instead, she may have been fearful of retaliation from JoJo if she talked. We've yet to hear JoJo's side of the story, but it's going to be hard to dig himself out of the hole that seems to be getting deeper by the minute. The members of the sheriff's office depart with the recovered weapon that was believed to have been used to execute Dagan. Investigator Aaron Baxter sits down with Lacona on February 24th, just 4 days after Dagan was killed. During our last encounter with Lacona, when the handgun was retrieved near the tent that served as her place of residence, she seemed to insinuate that her days with JoJo were numbered. However, she initially referred to JoJo as her fiancé at this meeting. It may be that she had a change of heart and decided against ending the volatile relationship after all. As a result, she may be less forthcoming in her interview than the sheriff's office would have hoped.
You know, the other day when we were over there with the gun, what made you think that gun was used to just, you just had a gut feeling?
I just had that feeling. It was a feeling because I don't know, it's just a feeling.
And you said that Jose had pointed at you before?
Yeah, in the past, but he would never, when it comes to other people, he's not mean. He's a coward. When it came to me, it was different. Other folks, he was a coward. He always backed down from fights and stuff. And I just don't understand. I don't see, I just don't understand. What? Why? JoJo didn't even know her. As far as I knew, Jonathan was the only one that knew her. Then I found out Tay's known her, Jonathan's known her. JoJo didn't know her, so why would he even... I don't know.
Lacona seems genuinely confused about the conspiracy and why JoJo would participate, seeing as he hadn't met Samantha until the day before the murder. According to future testimony provided by John, the three men smoked methamphetamine while en route to the Ibarra household. Perhaps this claim could explain the violent behavior seemingly uncharacteristic of JoJo.
So why
But you never found that gun in my tent. I promise you didn't.
Where do you think I found it?
I know exactly where you found it, which is in the spot that Jonathan hid it.
Jonathan put it there? Seriously?
Yes.
JoJo seems to believe that by knowing where it had been hidden, he can somehow pin the murder on John.
Jonathan blew his pistol out and he hits him with it.
Where'd Jonathan have the pistol at?
In his waistband.
Whose pistol is it?
Jonathan's.
Where'd he get
it? Beats me.
Clearly, JoJo's story is not agreeing with John's version of events. Most significantly, JoJo claims the gun that was allegedly used to murder Dagan belongs to John, though JoJo is unsure where or how John obtained it.
All right, and the gun that we got out from under the house, that's the gun that, I guess it belonged to Jose.
It was mine. It was a gift to me from him. It was mine.
Okay.
Most importantly, perhaps, Lacona confirms that the handgun that was recovered near the tent belongs to her and JoJo, not John.
What I need to do, I've got Samantha's version.
Samantha is the ringleader. I never met her until yesterday.
So you just up there with Charlotte and them, that's when you met.
That's when right, yes sir, I met Samantha. And I met her 5 kids. We all left. We get to Walmart. We're at Walmart for a little bit. All of a sudden, Octavius Rhymes walks up to me. He said, man, I gotta go. I said, why? He's like, my mom just called me and cussing me out, telling me I better get the damn car home. So I let me go find Jonathan real quick. Let me ask Jonathan if he can give us, me and my wife, a ride home, back to your house. When Jonathan took me home that afternoon, though, Octavius was home. Octavius ended up leaving with Jonathan. They left together. Me and my wife stayed home. All of a sudden, around the 7 or 8, that last night, they showed back up. This time, they showed up with Octavius, Jonathan, Samantha, and her kids. Jonathan pulled me to the side. Say, cuz, I need to talk to you. I don't know what's up. He's like, look, old girl, talking about Samantha. He said, Samantha, wants us to, do something. And he wouldn't tell me full details until we went to the place. All of a sudden, he tells me, he said, look, I just need you to stand guard.
JoJo describes what is called a criminal conspiracy between himself and John to commit the crime of kidnapping. Another important revelation is JoJo's claim that Tay was a willing participant in the conspiracy, despite Samantha's and John's initial reluctance to implicate him. It turns out that old Cuz was actually Tay all along. Let's hear it straight from the source. Meet Octavius Tay Rhymes, whose identity Samantha and John attempted to conceal initially. Tay had requested a meeting with the Titus County Sheriff's Office with the intention of getting a deal in the works. However, Tay was informed that he'd need his lawyer to handle the negotiating with the DA's office. While seated with investigator Wayne Miner, Tay went ahead and pleaded his case.
I should have spoke to y'all without a lawyer, but I admitted to y'all, that I was in the vicinity when they took the dude from his home. But I didn't realize that they were planning on doing. So like I said, I know y'all ran my criminal background history already. I don't have no violent background. I don't have no felonies, or misdemeanors. No, I've never been in no serious trouble like this ever. So I'm trying to work with y'all, but I can't really give y'all no more information if there ain't no deal on the table.
Striking a deal is quite common in criminal cases, especially those with multiple defendants. Often, the prosecution will offer a more lenient sentence to the accused in exchange for the accused providing information to the police or agreeing to testify against one of the other defendants. However, it's important to note that a criminal defendant cannot make a deal with the police. Only the prosecutors are authorized to make deals with defendants. Therefore, any sort of deal that the police make with Tay wouldn't have any legal effect, unless, of course, such a deal was approved by the prosecutor's office.
I stayed downstairs the entire time.
But she whistled.
That means she was downstairs. Because like I said, me, Octavius, and
How'd she whistle? Was it like that or?
Yeah, like that. That's what I'm saying. She was downstairs. She had to be.
But you didn't see her?
No.
And so who went back in when she did it? Jonathan did.
And all of a sudden, Jonathan comes back out and says, "Come here, cuz I talk to you." So we walk over here. He's like, her mom just called, said she's got a friend. She's sending a friend over to see her or whatever, something like that. He's like, so she said, "We got to go. We need to go now."
JoJo claims that Samantha told them to move quickly. Records indicate that she called her mother to alert her of the attack. Because her mother's home was an hour's drive from Samantha's, she assumed that would give the men ample time to leave the premises with Dagan. What Samantha didn't anticipate was that her mother would send a nearby aunt to her rescue. There's no way JoJo could have known this bit of information if Samantha wasn't in on the ruse.
And so we left.
They arrive at a secluded area that serves as their destination.
Tay's looking at me, I'm looking at him. Jonathan looks back at us. Jonathan pulls it out, he's holding it. All of a sudden, I tell him, "Man, dude, you're too close, dude. You shouldn't take the man's life, but you're too close to the road." Tay's looking, Tay's like, "Man, you really are." He said, "It's gonna be loud."
This moment is key, as with this statement, JoJo may have just admitted to being an accomplice to Dagan's murder. By admitting to the sheriff that he told John to move further from the road before killing Dagan, prosecutors could argue that JoJo attempted to aid John in his murder of Dagan, leaving JoJo equally culpable for it.
All right, hold on just a second. Drink your Coke, and I'll be right back.
While JoJo waits for the sheriff to return, he's well aware that the camera is still rolling.
I don't understand how the hell you gonna blame me for shit that he did.
Okay.
I went because he asked me for help.
So you know what time that they took Samantha home?
To be honest, I believe it was before midnight, but I couldn't really tell you the time. I don't remember the times. I think it was before midnight though, because she was talking about how the kids were getting sleepy and she needed to get to the house. Something about her man was asleep or something and she didn't want him waking up and getting mad at her.
No question about it, Samantha has been caught in a lie. Cell tower records give us the real story. Despite Samantha's attempts to deceive law enforcement, her phone wasn't near her home until approximately 10:30 p.m. on February 19th, just a few hours before the invasion. A major development in the case occurs just 3 days after the murder of Dagan, though it would be a stretch to say it came as a shock. Samantha is arrested and charged with aggravated kidnapping and murder. In the end, the failed conspiracy resulted in lengthy prison terms for all involved. John and JoJo pleaded guilty the following year, in April of 2016. They received 50-year sentences for their roles in Dagan's kidnapping and murder. Months later, in December of 2016, Tay went on trial. It didn't go as he'd hoped, however. He was found guilty of murder and aggravated kidnapping and was sentenced to a total of 93 years. Last but not least came the mastermind behind the whole terribly designed plot. Samantha went on trial for Dagan's murder in September of 2017. Not surprisingly, she was found guilty. She was sentenced to 99 years. In addition, she received another 50 years for the kidnapping to be served consecutively with her murder sentence. To this day, it is still unknown who pulled the trigger and killed Dagan.
She's burnt. She burnt. Somebody probably set the cone for or something. I don't know. She just come out of the woods to my house.
That's the worst one I've seen. I couldn't believe she was still conscious and alert with the amount of burns she had.
What did she do that was so awful that she would die a torturous death like this? That's what we want to know.
I have nothing to do with nothing. That's my friend. I'm telling you, that's my friend. I would never hurt her.
On March 24th, 2010, a man named Terrence sat outside his home in Pensacola, Florida, enjoying the fresh night air. By all accounts, it was a perfect spring night. That is, until a faint voice rang out from the forest surrounding his home. At first, Terrence couldn't make out what the voice was saying, and then it came again. A panicked and pained moan. It was a woman calling out for help. Terrence couldn't have had the slightest idea of the gruesome crime that had just been committed against this woman, a crime so brutal that you may have trouble believing it.
In reference to the call, we're on scene and fire saying that the patient, she's got second-degree burns over 100% of her body, but she's saying that there was no vehicle involved, that people dragged her out of her house and set her on fire.
At first, through the forest shrouded in shadows, Terrence couldn't make out the woman calling for help. Moments later, when he finally could, he was horrified. A 19-year-old woman, Adriana Zimmerman, slowly stumbled toward him out of the darkness. Burns coated every inch of her skin, so severe that he couldn't make out the color of her skin or whether she was wearing any clothes at all. Terrence called 911 while Adriana sought refuge on his porch.
911. What's going on out there? Somebody started burning up. Her, this lady on fire right now. She what? She burnt all up. You gotta. She burnt. Somebody probably set the car on fire or something. I don't know. She just come out of the woods to my house.
As they waited for EMS to arrive, Terrence noted that Adriana smelled heavily of gasoline, and there was a severe injury on her head in addition to the burns. Whatever she had endured had left her barely clinging to life. By 9:24 p.m., an EMT arrived at the scene to find Adriana sitting on the porch with her arms outstretched, rocking back and forth to soothe her pain. The extent of her burns meant that the EMT on the scene couldn't offer her much medical assistance. Even for a seasoned EMT, the sight was deeply disturbing.
She was kind of moaning. She was just in a sitting position, and the way she was looking was it hurt to move anywhere, so she was kind of in whatever position she was the most comfortable. It was in a sitting with her arms stuck straight out. She was moaning, and it was hard to understand her due to her jaw. Her jaw was very deformed and stuck out. So she kept, mumbling, help me. And I told her, I'll try to help you. You just got to stay there. Try not to move for me. Really, with a burn victim like that, there's nothing much we can do until EMS gets there.
And your training experience when you saw her, what was your first thought?
That's the worst one I've seen. I couldn't believe she was still conscious and alert with the amount of burns she had.
Did you feel her condition was grave?
Yes, sir.
Just from your experience and seeing what you've seen?
Yes, sir. Just from seeing that, plus the head trauma, the amount of head trauma she had to her face, I would not have expected her to make it through the night. She kept telling me I'm about to pass out. So I told her, try to stay awake for me, and I wanted to get the info of the suspects before she passed out.
Fearing that she would never wake up if she passed out, the EMT dug for all the information that he could about what happened to her. She managed to tell him that she'd been taken from her house, tased, beaten with a crowbar, and then set on fire. En route to the hospital, the paramedic supervisor tended to Adriana's wounds as much as they were able to. In their interview with the police, they disclosed heart-wrenching details of the ride to the hospital.
I told her, keep fighting. And she kept saying over and over again, am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? And I told her I was going to try. And she said, just tell me I'm going to wake up and see my babies. I got to talking to her, and I told her that I was probably going to be the last person she talked to for a while, and that in order to catch the people that did this to her, I needed her to tell me if she knew who it was. And I asked her why they did it to her, and she said, I thought we'd made up.
Without being able to give more details about the horror she had endured, Adriana was given morphine for her pain and fell into a coma. Investigators were desperate to find the perpetrators behind such a heinous crime. It wasn't long before they inferred that wading through all the convolution and getting to the heart of the horrific incident was going to be anything but clear-cut. This is Cypress Trail Mobile Home Park, where 19-year-old Adriana had only lived for a few months before the horrific incident took place. Adriana moved to Florida with her children from her hometown of Lubbock, Texas. Her family, who lovingly nicknamed her Augie, missed her from the moment she left for the Sunshine State. She was a loving, dedicated mother to her 2 children, and her final words before she fell into a coma confirmed this. En route to the hospital, barely clinging to life, she repeatedly asked the medical professionals to take care of her children and check on them since they were home alone. Mere hours after Adriana was taken to the hospital, law enforcement arrived at the trailer park. They knocked on Tina Brown's door at lot number 3 of the trailer park, where she lived with her 16-year-old daughter, Brittany Miller. Then they knocked repeatedly at lot number 1, where Heather Lee resided with her husband, Darren Lee. For nearly an hour, no one responded, until finally, after incessant knocking, Heather answered. She, Darren, and Tina had been holed up inside her home the entire time. By then, the police had plenty of questions for them. Throughout the interrogations you're about to see, law enforcement is forced to wade through a sea of contradictions and lies created by suspects who were seemingly racing each other to dry land. That race to escape began the moment Heather Lee was put in a cop car to be brought back to the station for questioning. The following footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed professional counselor and a licensed attorney.
It's cold in here.
All right, what's that one? She said she's cold back here.
Can you tell me what's going on?
Huh?
Can you tell me what's going on?
Just hang tight, okay, dear?
Okay.
After setting Heather in the car, the police leave her alone for another 20 minutes. She fidgets anxiously in the back seat.
What's your full name?
Heather.
H-E-A-T?
H-E-R.
You work anywhere?
No, sir, not at the time.
Several witnesses and neighbors interviewed allege that many people in the trailer park sold illegal substances or allegedly worked as escorts, including Tina, Heather, Adriana, and their partners. In the 4 months leading up to the battery of Adriana, cops had visited the trailer park 25 times. But this time would prove to be the most ghastly, heartbreaking visit of all.
What is going on?
Okay. Well, first of all, we're investigating a battery here with your neighbor there behind you.
Adriana?
I guess. The lady lives behind you. Listen to me now.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you some questions.
Okay. I just see Adriana earlier today.
My name is Investigator Watts. I'm with the Sheriff's Office, and we were called out here on an aggravated some type of disturbance tonight, okay, where your neighbor was critically injured, and you have been implicated, maybe having some knowledge or information, or even being involved. Okay. I have to ask you some questions, but before I ask you any questions, I'm going to have to advise you your rights, okay?
The detective reads Heather her Miranda rights. She accepts them rather calmly, but her calmness and patience will start to wane as the police begin to really question her.
First of all, tell me, do you know the situation we're talking about here?
No, sir. That's why I keep asking what's going on.
Okay. Where have you been all afternoon? What have you been doing?
I've been here at the house. I was cooking. I see Adriana earlier today.
Who?
Adriana, my neighbor. She was down this way by my aunt's house talking with us earlier. And then I had went back in the house. I cooked and I laid down after that.
Okay, is anybody in the house with you?
Nobody but my husband. He was in there asleep.
That's your husband?
In the bed, yeah.
Y'all, is just two of y'all live there?
Yeah. My kids is with my mom.
Okay, this girl was taken from her house and beaten up, okay?
Okay, I seen her earlier today. She told me that she had a date. That's all she told me. And I asked her who it was. She was riding a bike up and down Detroit. And I asked her when she went that way, I said, where do you keep going when you go that way? She kept saying Fowler. But she would never tell me where on Fowler. And then she said, girl, I got a hot date tonight.
It's interesting that Heather immediately provides information to deflect the interest away from herself and toward the supposed hot date.
Do you know the lady lives in lot 3 back there?
Tina, yes, I know Tina. All of us know each other out here. I met her when she first moved out here.
Okay, how long has she been here?
I'm not quite sure. It's been a couple months, so she ain't been living out here no longer than a year.
Okay, where did you go tonight before we got here?
Tonight? Tonight?
Yeah.
I didn't go anywhere.
So you've been in your house?
I've been here and down by Tina's house and by my aunt's house and back here. I was here cooking. My other aunt, my mom's sister, came around here, her and the kids. And I was in there cooking fish and fries. And it's still on the stove.
Heather telling the officer that the fish is still on the stove is an attempt to prove that she's being truthful. In reality, her desperation to provide evidence of her activities only makes her look more suspicious. People who are innocent often don't feel such a stark need to back their story up. In just a moment, you'll see her try to validate her whereabouts even more by listing people who can provide her with an alibi. Take note of just how many times she does this.
I want to sit here and believe what you're saying, but we're getting information. You know what's going on here. You and Tina.
I don't know anything about what's going on here. Like I said, I was here at the house. My mom called me on my cell phone. I talked to my mom. My aunt came here, her, the kids. My two cousins was in the car with her. My aunt down in the fourth trailer, she seen me today. My Uncle Charles seen me today.
So you're sitting here and telling me that you and Tina, y'all didn't have a problem with this girl back there?
I didn't have no problem with Audrina. I've been hanging out with Audrina every day. All of us been hanging out together.
You and Tina didn't jump on her?
No, I didn't do nothing to Audrina. I would not harm a hair on her head.
Heather's protesting that she couldn't have been involved because she would never hurt any part of Adriana is known as a convincing statement. This type of statement is often a sign of deception, as a truthful person's first instinct would likely be to outright deny an allegation, rather than try to convince the person posing the question of something.
I had to protect her once before.
From who?
Because her and some girls was getting into it, and I stopped them from jumping on her. Other than that, I haven't had any problems with her. Her kids, I always have her kids with me. Me and Audrina is just like that. Ever since she moved out here, we became friends.
Okay.
Here, Heather's palm seems to be facing up as she's speaking. The palm-up position is not very affirmative, and it suggests that the speaker is asking or pleading to be believed. This may indicate that she's feeling uncertain about the statement she just made.
And the kids, I love the kids. They went with me to get my hair done and everything. I seen her this morning, and then I seen her about 2 and about 3.
Where'd you see her at?
I seen her down this way by my aunt's house. She was right down there. Yeah, she was right down there.
That's when you were down there when you saw her?
Yeah.
Those 3?
She came with the car.
So you're saying you saw her 3 different times today?
Yes, I seen her
and
today.
And she was down there?
She was down there. She was talking to me.
Is that all you know about this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I put that on everything I love.
And you swear that this statement you gave me is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir. Audrina is my friend.
You didn't get anything? No, sir. All right.
The police conclude their interview, but what Heather requests next is very telling and makes her look even more suspicious.
I want to see her.
See who?
Audrina.
Well, that's not going to be possible right now. Guy, where you found her? Would you tell me if you knew what happened?
Yes, sir, I would. That's my friend.
Okay. All right, we'll be back with you in just a second, okay?
Once more, Heather is left in the car. She shifts uncomfortably and sniffles, wiping her tears until it seems she cannot take the anxiety brewing inside of her any longer. While to some her next actions may seem to be those of a desperate friend, to others they likely appear to be those of a suspect trying to feign concern.
Baby!
You get the
I wanted to know what's going on.
Huh?
I wanted to know what's going on.
Didn't the investigators tell you already?
Yeah, they told me that, but...
Okay, well, I can't tell you any more than what they told you, sweetheart.
All right, they didn't tell me I was under arrested or...
No, you're not under arrest.
Okay, now,
Okay.
How can I find out where can I go see her at?
You just got to wait, okay?
And then when they all get done, I can find out?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Your husband will come in here. He wants to talk to you.
Okay.
Meet Darren Lee, Heather's husband. He's no stranger to run-ins with law enforcement, having been convicted of 2 prior felonies in 2001, including battery and sale of a controlled substance. As soon as he's put in the car, it seems that the couple begins retracing their steps in a discreet way to ensure her and Darren's stories are aligned once they're separated for questioning. This early in the investigation, we can only speculate as to the reason behind Heather and Darren having been placed in the vehicle together. It's possible that law enforcement just needs to secure them for the time being, However, it's also a possibility that officers are intent on capturing what the two might inadvertently disclose as the camera is running.
That's not what you did this.
I'm going to
That's what they told me.
They say, oh, we're going to go down and ask for questions or something.
I'm gonna what?
Go down and ask for questions. I told them before that Block and Brown came by and ate some fish with them. Told them that y'all may leave. But she said that you told them that we were asleep.
I told her that I was just in her sleep.
448, copy code. See, I told them that we was eating fish like the movie.
Go ahead, 448.
17,
Yeah, and I was right there on the couch. The Block and Brown came by.
See this, man. Watch the doors, man. That's why I'm not doing this.
Over time, this truck.
They hit my team back before I had enough questions. Y'all let you in charge of this and shit. You don't answer all the questions.
I ain't got no problem with going. Like I told him. I seen Adriana earlier today.
They talking about the gas can and everything, you know.
What gas can?
Gas can from the floor.
The gas. Them gas cans being on the porch. I don't even know who gas cans over there.
I told them Jazz. Jazz.
I don't know who gas cans over there.
Heather's reaction to Darren mentioning the police taking gas cans off their porch is rather frantic and over the top.
Them gas cans being on the porch. I don't even know who gas cans over there.
Especially considering the fact that at this time, officers had not even disclosed that Adriana was burned.
I ain't know what the hell was going on. They told me I just seen her today. And now they saying she in intensive care. I seen her before it got dark.
All right, man.
She asked me for a day today.
I'm gonna give you about a minute more, say your things, and we fix and go. I need to talk to you real quick. All right? I'll give you about a minute more. Say goodbye.
Hey, am I on arrest?
You are not free to go at this time, so you can consider whatever you want to consider. You're not free to go right now.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Okay. I think I can hold you 48 hours or something. I don't know. You are...
48 hours?
I think you were detained at this time. How about that? So we get a chance to talk to you. Okay? They want to talk to you.
Oh.
The two are being detained as the officer has reasonable suspicion that there is criminal activity afoot, or evidence of criminal activity to be found through the temporary detention and questioning of the individuals. A detention is different than an arrest, which requires that the officer has probable cause to believe a crime has in fact been committed, was in the process of commission, or was about to be committed. The standard for probable cause is higher than that of reasonable suspicion. Reasonable suspicion must be based on specific and articulable facts, combined with rational inferences from those facts, and the suspicion must be associated with the specific individual or individuals being detained.
They're kind of trying to get me involved in whatever happened with them. Told me, I don't know, man, they ain't seen that whole goddamn thing.
You get my phone and call Gene.
The Gene that Heather is referring to is an attorney who she will be asking for rather frantically soon. After this, Heather, Tina, and Darren were brought to the station for further questioning. However, there was still one person missing whom cops desperately wanted to speak with, 16-year-old Brittany Miller, Tina's daughter. Tina told police that earlier Brittany had left for the hospital with her friends, Jessica and Mallory, in Tina's maroon SUV. Brittany had hurt her hand, though Tina told investigators that she didn't know how. Investigators searched the area for Brittany and the SUV, but their initial searches proved fruitless. Brittany's name, car make, and model, and her physical description were broadcast to all patrol units in a desperate attempt to find her. Without Brittany in custody, back at the station, the thorough questioning of Tina, Heather, and Darren began. On top of their stories contrasting with one another, even their demeanors in the interrogation rooms were wildly different. You have Heather, who is clearly distressed.
Officer!
Yes, ma'am.
Please give me a nurse or something.
For what?
I don't feel good.
I wouldn't be feeling good either right now.
having an anxiety attack. I have anxiety attacks.
I've already called. They're supposed to be coming back to you, okay? That's all I can do right this moment.
Okay.
Sit up there in that chair up there and set your head down on that desk. Just breathe right. Okay?
Okay. Please let me go. Please. Please let it be alright. Please let it be alright. Please let it be alright. Let it be alright. Please let it be alright.
Heather's anxiety is tangible in the 30 minutes she's left alone in the interrogation room. And as you'll see shortly when her interrogation continues, she has every reason to be anxious. Her husband, on the other hand, didn't seem entirely concerned when he was interrogated, even casually chatting with someone on the phone beforehand.
Well, no, man, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling, man. I'm copacetic right now.
In use.
Oh, yeah.
All right, dude.
I'm really trying to do, but I'm coming to get him.
You ready, man?
477. Yeah. I'm for real. I'm gonna call you right back, man.
I'm getting off this goddamn phone.
Who is it?
I got to, man. I don't know, man. He gonna take my phone.
You done?
Yeah.
All right.
And then there's Tina, sitting emotionless in the interrogation room while she waits for police to enter and question her.
Did you grab a form? Okay. Oh. How you doing? I'm Investigator Lee Tyree, and this is Investigator Tom Watts.
After this, the police remind everyone of their rights now that they are officially in the interrogation rooms. An important thing to note is that Tina was the first to be interrogated, followed by Heather. Take a look at how their stories compare. Even their initial retellings of why they didn't answer the door don't align.
I've been talking to you for a few minutes. I was kind of trying to find out why you weren't answering the door when we came to your house this evening. You explained that you saw the cops and that you were nervous about that. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were just watching movies.
Okay, so you, Darren, and Tina were sitting in the living room. Heather were sitting there in the living room watching movies.
Mm-hmm.
And when the cops knocked on the door, what'd y'all do?
We were sitting there.
Okay. Why didn't you answer the door?
It ain't my door.
Okay. Did they do anything special when the cops knocked on the door? Turn out the lights, turn off
The lights
TV?
were already off because we were being nosy, looking out the window, seeing what's going on next door.
Okay, so you saw the cops next door first?
Mm-hmm.
Were the lights on before the cops came over next door?
Yeah.
And then y'all turned them off when they came over next
Yeah,
door?
you can see better with the lights off. You don't see
Okay.
nobody looking back at you.
Tina haven't been at my house all night.
Okay, so you sitting there in the living room watching movies. Tina hasn't been at your house?
And she haven't been at my house all night.
Where was she at?
She came in. She came and knocked on the door, and I got up. She said the police was out there.
Okay.
And I just laid there.
Did she come
I was
in?
on the couch. I just laid there because I was asleep.
Did she ever come in the house after she told you the police was there?
She came in the house and she sat down.
In your house?
Yeah, she sat on my couch.
And what did she?
And I asked her what was going on, and she told me she didn't know.
I'm confused here because Darren told me that you and Tina were there and cooking all night.
Tina was there when I was cooking earlier,
Okay.
but she wasn't out there all night.
Where'd she go?
She had left. She told me she was going home.
Okay. About what time was that?
It was, what time I was cooking? It was getting dark when I was cooking, and I stopped cooking about 6 or 7.
So Tina left around 6 or 7?
Yeah, she left.
Okay. And when did she come back over to your house?
She came back probably like 30 minutes to an hour later.
So she was gone for 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
And she comes back and the cops show up right at the same time?
She came in and she said the cops outside.
Did you see the cops outside that time?
I got up and I looked and I seen the lights. You can see the spotlights. I see the spotlights.
And where are they at?
They was outside.
Are they outside?
They was outside of Tina's house.
They were outside of Tina's
Yes,
house.
they was outside of Tina's
Were
house.
they outside of Adriana's house at all, or no?
When I had came out, they was outside of Adriana's house.
Okay, that's
When they knocked on the
that's
door
when
and
you
I
answered
came.
the door.
Yeah, when I
And you
answered
didn't
the door.
answer the door for like an hour.
They didn't knock on my door.
Oh yeah, they beat on that door.
Not on lot one they did because I was laying right there on the couch and I didn't hear no locks.
Even your husband said they beat on the door and you wasn't going to answer the door. And then Tina said they beat on the door and y'all didn't answer.
I got up.
It seems Heather is facing what is known as the prisoner's dilemma. This occurs when two or more individuals who are involved in a crime are isolated from one another and urged to confess to the crime. Each is concerned only with receiving the shortest possible prison sentence, and each must decide whether to confess without knowing what decision the other or others will make.
And Tina said, hold on, don't answer the door. And I asked her why.
Okay. We're getting a big diversity in this story.
And I'm gonna tell you like it is. Adriana is my friend. I would never hurt her. Tina came to my house and she told me not to answer my door. I asked her why. She said, cause the cops is out there.
Heather's emphasis points are extremely off here when she states she's my friend, then hits the table, followed by I would never hurt her, and strikes the table again. You can actually see and hear how her nonverbal emphasis does not naturally line up with her words as it should. This is widely recognized as an indicator of deception.
And then she asked me, she said, where are the cops at? I said, they down there by your house. Why you keep asking me where the cops at? And she wouldn't never say. She
Was she acting nervous?
She was acting nervous. She started back puffing on the cigarette.
Did she look like she was been running, or did she look like she'd been in a fight?
She was acting normal.
Notice that Heather's palm is up here, which may be an indication once again that she's unsure of the story she's telling and asking to be believed.
Let me ask you a question.
She was acting normal.
You said when we asked.
And I said, Tina, I said, you seen Adriana tonight? She said, no, I haven't seen that bitch tonight.
And she didn't tell you why she didn't want you to answer the door.
She didn't say anything about why not to answer the door.
But she did tell you not to answer the door.
Yeah. And I told her, I said, I don't have anything to hide. I'm gonna open my door. And then I got up and I said, who is it? And they said, the sheriff's department. And I opened the door.
What was Darren doing?
He was laying at the bottom of the couch watching TV.
And you're absolutely sure of this?
Yes, sir. I am sure.
Because this story's a lot different than Tina's story.
I am sure.
As the investigator has pointed out, Heather's story is wildly different from her husband's.
Okay, so you were sleeping until about 7, so you don't know anything prior to that?
No.
Okay. And your wife tells me this story about Tina coming in, saying the cops are outside, and that y'all look out and you see the cops surrounding Miss Zimmerman's trailer. And she says for y'all not to answer the door. Now, I don't recall any of that conversation going on in yours. Now, I do remember you saying y'all didn't answer the door because it was police. Yeah. Tell me about that.
I don't want to say the police was out there.
Okay, so you don't recall Tina coming in and saying that the police are outside?
Tina was already in the house.
Because your wife tells us that you and her at home alone. Tina comes barreling in and saying, hey, the cops are outside. And y'all see the cops outside. And Tina's saying, don't answer the door.
No, that's a lie.
That's a lie?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's what Heather told us. Your wife.
I'll tell you that's a lie.
Okay. Why would she lie to us? Do you know?
I don't know.
I mean, she was distraught. She was crying. She was telling us this story. She seemed like...
Emotional.
Well, emotional, but she also seemed sincere.
Yeah.
It's possible that Heather is lying in order to make Tina look bad and compromise her alibi, though clearly she and Darren aren't on the same page about that plan.
Obviously know something's up.
Yeah.
So, tell me what happened tonight.
Nothing happened that I know of.
Notice how Tina is rubbing her neck, which is a major red flag. It's obvious that she's feeling very insecure and apprehensive. Neck massaging in general is a calming response. In addition, rubbing the vagus nerve near the side of the neck, close to where a pulse is taken, actually results in the release of acetylcholine, which sends signals to the heart to slow down a person's heart rate. However, this isn't to say she's guilty, as she's clearly in a stressful situation. But it's also an important tell to take note of.
See your arms and hands if I could. Okay, can I see the top signs? Okay. Those old scars on there?
Yeah, I have a puppy.
Okay, and what's this right here? That little scratch there?
This?
Yeah.
I have a puppy.
Okay, and your puppy caused that?
Look, I'm going to here.
Got your chin? Okay.
Nothing new.
All right. So where were you tonight?
At Heather's.
At Heather's house?
Well, I was at home. My daughter's braiding my hair, so I was at home, but it started hurting, and her little friend started coming by.
Remember what Tina has said here about her daughter braiding her hair. It will prove to be quite important as the investigation continues.
So Heather said she was going to cook, so I went down there, and she was cooking fish and French fries, and then we just started watching movies.
Okay. And did you go anywhere from there?
Mm-mm.
You were there all night until the cops came up there?
Mm-hmm.
Tina has put her hand to her mouth here. Whether conscious or not, many individuals will attempt to hide their lie by physically covering the source of their deception.
What time did you go over there?
Probably just started getting dark.
Okay, so about sunset, you go over to Heather's.
Mm-hmm.
Was anybody over at Heather's house when you went over there?
Just Heather and her husband.
Do you know what happened to Adriana tonight?
No, I don't. Heather just said she got beat up, but that's all I know.
A little bit more than that. And what was Darren doing while y'all over there cooking? Anything?
Laying on the couch watching movies.
Okay. All right, but you were home all night. You didn't see any kind of disturbance going on over there before the cops came over there or anything?
No, we would have heard something.
You said you saw Adriana earlier today? Mm-hmm. What time was that?
Adriana was coming and going on a bicycle.
Okay. You remember the last time you saw her? Was it while you were still over at Heather and Darren's?
I didn't come back out when I went to their house. We were cooking then.
Okay. So it had to been before sunset.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw her during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And once you went over to Heather and Darren's, you never left there?
No.
You didn't go get anything or go anywhere at all?
I don't think so.
Notice that Tina's been asked several times if she went anywhere that night, not even 12 hours prior to this interrogation taking place.
You seem kind of lackadaisical about this. We're going to go out there. We know what happened out there. It's just going to be a matter of getting fingerprints and evidence back, okay?
Out where? It happened at her house?
No, it didn't.
It started at her house.
Right.
And then it went somewhere else.
What started at her house?
The reason we're here.
Well, we got some issues, okay? And we're going to get to the bottom of it one way or another, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we're sitting here talking to you, and then I'd certainly appreciate, and I know Tom appreciates that you're talking to us. But we got to get to the bottom of this, and we got to know what happened, the truth. And, there's two choices here. Either you're going to tell us, or Heather's going to tell us. So, who's going to be?
Tina is continuing to show signs of high anxiety, evidenced by her face, neck, and chin rubbing. It's unfortunate that the officer is throwing out questions at such a rapid pace that Tina isn't getting a chance to answer most of them.
I didn't do anything to her.
Okay.
Promise to God.
And you were home all night?
I was at Heather's house.
Okay. You were at Heather's all night. Never left there. Because, see, the story between Heather and Darren is already shaky. And your story is a third version of what they've told us so far. Okay? Now, there's pieces and parts that are the same, but they aren't exactly the same. Okay? It concerns me. It sounds a little too good, and then the parts that are breaking up, I don't understand why they're not saying the same thing. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to get to the bottom of this, and somebody's life may end over this. We're getting told that she's in pretty critical condition at this point and not likely to make it. So that's why we're here.
Do you understand what he's saying? Not likely to make it.
Yeah, she's about to die.
Yeah.
Okay.
That changed gears. When she dies, it's going to change gears. Okay?
I didn't do anything to her.
Okay. I don't want you to tell me anything other than the truth. Okay?
I didn't do it.
Okay. Still got a problem. Got anything?
If you know anything and you're withholding it, you want to be the first one on board. You see what I'm talking about? Because once we get everybody, all the information, there's not going to be second chances.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, if she doesn't make it,
You're trying to be sleeping with a lot of girls,
Well,
a lot of guys
I realize
around
that.
there.
I realize that.
One of them could have did it. I didn't do it. I promised to go.
While Tina maintains that she had nothing to do with the attack, Heather takes a much different approach. Their behaviors are as different as their stories are, and they only grow more dramatic as the interrogations continue.
I hate it. Go grab one across the hall. Sugar, you all right?
You know, worried about Audra.
Yeah, I am too. I'm very worried about Adriana.
My friend.
Tell us what happened.
I don't know. I seen her earlier today. And
Heather,
it
let me
seemed
tell you
like
something.
everything was all right when I seen her today.
Let me tell you a little bit what's going on, okay? We did get a chance to talk to Adriana before she went to the hospital.
Yes, sir.
She told us a few things. She told us who did this to her.
Yes, sir.
She told us where they took her and what they did to her.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Why do you think I'm talking to you?
I don't know. I would never hurt her. I always have protected her when she got into it with people in that trailer park.
Heather's statement here left investigators wondering about what kind of things everyone in the trailer park were getting into with each other, and what motive it may have provided for brutally attacking Adriana.
But she's also, your friend told us you did this to her.
I would never.
We need to go over what you did tonight, okay?
Yes, sir.
We just talked to your other friend,
Yes,
Tina
sir.
Brown. Is that your friend too?
Yes, all of in the trailer park.
And how about her daughter, Brittany?
Brittany.
Where were y'all tonight?
I was at home when y'all came. When they came to the house, I was right there in the same spot. They on their couch
I
going to sleep.
absolutely believe you were at home when we came over there. Where were you maybe half an hour, 45 minutes before that?
I was at home. I
Okay.
was at home. My aunt came by my house. I was in the house cooking.
You know what time
and
your
we
aunt
was
came by?
watching movies. It was almost dark. It was almost dark.
Okay, well, we came over to your house and started knocking on your door about 10 o'clock at night. Almost dark and 10 o'clock at night is a big difference. There's about 4 hours missing in there, okay? A good 3. A good 3.
The lady in trailer park, that's my aunt. She seen me. Jerry and
Heather,
a
listen
lot
to
of
me.
more people seen
Listen
me
to
at
me.
home.
Listen to me.
You seen me
About
talking
dark
to her.
and 10 o'clock, there's a lot of hours in there.
I was
Okay.
right there on that couch.
Okay. So that's where you're saying you were right on that couch.
Ram and Blanca came to my house. They were laying down watching TV with us.
Okay. Anybody else come by your house?
My aunt, my cousin Crystal, my cousin Kenzie, the little baby Junior came by. Graham came by. Blanca came by.
And all
Jared was at my house.
Listen to me. And what time did they get by and what time did they leave?
It was dark when Jared came by there. He always come down there and ask me for cigarettes.
What's Jerry's first and last name?
His name is Jerry Johnson. That's my uncle. And my aunt name is Terry Smith.
We talked to them at the scene, I believe, didn't we?
They stayed down in the trailer park.
I think we got statements from them down at the end. My recollection was they didn't see her this evening.
It was about 2 and 3. I was saying,
I don't care about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I care about tonight.
That's the only time I see Audrey, and I haven't seen her since then.
2 or 3 in the afternoon doesn't matter. What time did your aunt and Terry Smith come by?
Terry was at home. Her son came down. I asked him to go over to the store to get me some fish fry.
Okay,
It's a
that's before you
ketchup.
start cooking. That's before dark.
Yeah.
After dark, after you cooked, after dark, who comes by?
And Jerry was the only one came down. He came down for a cigarette.
Jerry Johnson.
Yes, he
Can
came
you
down
remember
for a
about what
cigarette.
time that was?
I'm not sure what time it was, but he came for a cigarette.
And it was dark.
Yes, he asked me for a cigarette. I gave him a cigarette.
Okay.
I've been at the house all the time, and I've been trying to find out where she was at. Everybody telling me they didn't know where she was at.
Heather, why would you be wondering where she's at?
Cause she always hang out with me every night. We always hang out every night,
the last
and I
thing she
feed her
told
kids
us-
and everything.
The last thing she told us was you came in there along with your friends, dragged her out of the house.
I put down everything I love. I put down my
and
children's
burned her.
life. Burned her?
Yeah. And that's the last
my
thing she told us.
God. Burned her?
Yes.
See, I ain't know nothing about
I
her
know.
being burned.
So
See,
tell me, what went on tonight?
I didn't see her tonight. I see her earlier and I've been at my house.
It seems fair to say that detectives aren't buying her story. This only becomes more clear as additional horrible facts and evidence come to light.
But she was the only friend I was closest to.
Now, Heather, you know, this is all, when he talked to you earlier and all that, you wasn't upset like this. Why are you upset now?
I was crying because I didn't know that. I didn't know that she was
you watch all that
intensive
video?
care. The lady told me she was intensive care and everything.
There's video of you in that car talking to your husband, and you ain't talking like this.
He was asking me, did I see her today? I told him I seen her earlier today.
Well, you know, we watched the video too, and we saw how you answered this question.
I don't care. I didn't have anything to do with this. Almost said, because this is my friend. We talking about this is my friend. You said that's going to die. This is my friend. You say going to die. That's why I'm upset, because you telling me my friend's going to die. I've been protected. I've been protected. I've been talking to her mama every time she get into it with them.
Who you got protected from?
Because she been getting into it with Tina and everybody.
Okay, so what's her and Tina got a beef over? Tina said they get along fine.
Me and Andrea be just like that.
What's wrong with Tina's the one hanging out at your house tonight, right?
Yes, all of us is friends, but she wanted me to go out of town with her to be her mom. And I promised her I was gonna go with her. I promised her I was gonna go with her to see her mom. I was trying to help her get some money to get home to her mom. Because she didn't have anybody here physical.
At the time Adriana was attacked, she was trying to leave Florida and return home to her mother, where she could get a fresh start at a healthy life. It's tragic that that opportunity was taken away from her. Whether Heather was actually trying to help her is uncertain. But there's no doubt Heather's hoping presenting herself like a savior to Adriana will make her look less guilty.
When I asked you about Adriana and her date, you said he was supposed to come pick her up, is what she told you. And then you said you were sitting at your house and you saw a set of headlights come down
You
the
can see
driveway.
headlights coming in.
But you didn't pay no attention to it.
No. So I don't know if
Now,
he
wait,
picked
listen.
her up or what.
Okay.
But I
Tina,
seen
Tina, let's get back to Tina.
Okay.
Was she at your house at that time?
When the headlights came in, no, she was not in my house.
Okay.
She was not in my house.
Did
I'm
you
not
ever
gonna
see?
sit here and lie and say
No,
she was.
we're not asking you to lie about it. What did you see those headlights leave?
I seen them came in, they went down, and then the headlights came back up.
Came back. How long did they stay down there?
They had went down and was down for like 10 minutes. And then they came back up.
So you didn't.
I can lay right there on my couch by the door, and I can see headlights coming in.
Tell what kind of car it went to?
No, I didn't never look at the
So
one.
you
I
didn't
just
get up
seen
and
the
let you see
headlights.
where the car went?
I didn't never get up to see where it went, but I can see the headlights coming in through my front window, and I can see the headlights coming back out through my window on the side where Adriana trailer is.
Okay.
What kind of car does Brittany have?
Brittany don't have a car.
Okay. Was she riding around in a car tonight? Did you see her car? Was she riding with her friends?
I didn't see her tonight.
Soon after Heather was interrogated, the police returned to question Tina more. With Heather's testimony, they have some new ways to confront Tina.
The stories are changing.
It's interesting that Tina is sitting with her arms in her shirt, which isn't something we typically see with adults. We do know, however, that a fight or flight response can cause extremities to feel extremely cold.
So, you had time to think about it. Where were you tonight?
At home and at Heather's house.
Okay. When did you go over to Heather's house?
Like, when it started getting dark.
When it started getting dark?
About sunset.
And you stayed over there the rest of the night until the cops got there?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Because I ain't the story I'm getting.
Okay.
You don't care, huh?
I didn't go anywhere.
Heather's saying you're gone for half an hour to an hour tonight.
I was not gone for no
After
half
dinner.
an hour to an hour.
And you come back right before the cops are over there. Cops are over there around 10 o'clock. So from 9 to 10, I got you unaccounted for. So why is it that Heather's saying that your daughter didn't come by her house, that she went by your house?
Who went by my house?
Your daughter.
My daughter was at my house, supposedly.
Okay.
And she came to Heather's house.
We asked her if Brittany came by her house at all today. She said no. She said the only time she saw Brittany right after school at your house, and that's the only time she saw her today.
But maybe she didn't see her. I saw Brittany. When they asked who was at the door, Brittany said, "It's me, Mama." I opened the door. I went outside.
Trust me, she's cooperating with this as far as when we ask her stuff, and we asked her specifically, was Brittany at your house today?
At my house?
At her house. I'm talking to Heather at this point.
Okay.
And Heather's saying no.
She was
And
never
I asked
inside
Heather
of Heather's house.
I asked Heather if you were over at her house, and she said yes. She came over around dinner time, and then she said you left for half an hour to an hour, and that when you come back, you come in a hurry, nervous, saying the cops are outside. Don't answer the door. Why is Heather telling me this?
You tell me. If me and Heather were together doing this, then how is Heather going to be already in the house and I'm not in the house?
Don't know.
It seems the detectives are trying to turn Tina against Heather by making Tina think they believe Heather may be innocent. This only stokes Tina's frustration more, as you're about to see.
The problem I got is that the story between you and Heather keeps getting further and further apart.
I have not changed nothing on mine. Not nothing.
Okay.
Nothing at all. That's the truth. If that's the truth, then that's the truth, okay?
Okay.
Nothing's changed from what I've told you. Now, you have it? Nothing at all.
The divide between Tina and Heather was growing. Investigators had enough contradictions between the suspects' stories that the alarm bells were now deafening. When they finally got word that Brittany's car had been located behind the house early in the morning, they brought Brittany in for questioning. Tina hadn't seen her daughter since she left for the hospital. Her panic when she thinks she sees Brittany in the hallway at the station before Brittany's first interview is evident.
Is that my daughter?
Come on. No, that's the girl that's the girl else. Come on.
That's my daughter's
That
boy.
is not your daughter. You need to step back in here.
Brittany.
It's not Brittany. Jesus.
I thought
Have a seat.
That's my baby, y'all. They're doing that too. She didn't do nothing. Ooh, he probably tell her all kind of lies.
Is she afraid her daughter is about to reveal some incriminating information to detectives? Here in the state of Florida, when a minor is taken into custody, efforts must be made to contact a parent or guardian. But generally speaking, an interrogation can take place, and this is likely not going to be favorable for Tina or her daughter. According to 16-year-old Brittany, she hung out with her friends Jessica and Mallory after school until late into the night, at which point they left for the hospital. Her story of why the trip was necessary and why her right hand was now in a cast is interesting, to say the least. When police ask her to sign a paper indicating that she's been read her rights, she struggles to sign because of her broken pinky finger, bringing even more attention to the mysterious injury.
Okay, I have to sign with my left hand.
Okay. What'd you do to get that hand?
I broke my pinky. It's really slapped.
Yeah, just do the best you can. Why is it that you think you may be here? I know we talked to your mom last night. Did she tell you? What have you been told?
That they think that we did something to our next door neighbor,
To who?
Adriana.
Adriana? What is it that you think happened? Have you been told at all?
That I don't know. We used to hang out real good. We used to be real close. And then we just stopped hanging out.
Just stopped? Did y'all have any beefs or anything like that? When was the last time you talked to her?
Yesterday, around 4 o'clock, probably. Because she was riding a bike. And I just asked her where was she going with the bike. She said she was just going to ride.
Short conversation?
Yeah, it was short. That was it.
Brittany explains that she said hi to Adriana when she met her friend Mallory outside Brittany's home before the girls entered.
Went in the house and I started braiding my mom's hair. And then that's when my other friend came over that lives next door to me. And she started saying I was hurting her head and stuff, so we stopped. And then she left to go down to Heather house, and me and my other friends, we just stayed there, just listening to music, dance, watch movies.
Who was at the house with you dancing and watching movies?
Mallory and Jessica.
Mallory and Jessica. Is that it?
Yep.
Brittany explains that Jessica lives next door. The activities began around 5 o'clock that evening, she claims, and they continued into the night.
About what time did everybody leave?
They stayed the night. Mallory stayed the night, but Jessica, she went home. She went home about 6 o'clock in the morning because we was at the hospital.
Because your hand?
Yeah.
Tell me how that happened.
Mallory, we were in my room cleaning up my room, and I asked Mallory to toss me my key. And when she went to toss it, I went like that to try to catch him, and that's when I hit like the corner of the door right there. And that's how I broke it.
In your bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
About what time did that happen?
Around 1 o'clock, 1:30, and that's when we left to go to the emergency room.
About 1 or 1:30?
Mm-hmm. And that's when I went to the house, and I told my mom I messed up my arm, and she told me to just go ahead and drive myself to the hospital.
So you took yourself up there?
Yes.
Brittany claims that Jessica and Mallory went to the hospital with her.
And you talked to your mom about hurting your hand before you left?
Mm-hmm. I told her I went down, when I heard it, I went down to Heather house to where she was at, and I showed it to her, and I told her I heard it, and she said just go ahead and go to the hospital. And that's when we left.
So the only times I'm really missing is from about 6 to 1. Y'all dance and watch movies from 6 p.m. to 1 until you hurt your hand?
Yep.
Did y'all ever go outside the house?
Mm-mm.
Nobody saw y'all outside your house?
Nope.
Did you ever walk down the road to any of the trailers?
Nope.
What time did your mom wind up coming home?
I don't know actually, because I was asleep once I came back from the hospital. I went in her room and I went to sleep. And then that's when I got woken up by the police.
And it's important that you really concentrate on what you're telling us because it is on tape.
Mm-hmm.
Because your times are not adding up.
Okay.
Because you weren't there at your house between 6 and 1. We know that for a fact.
We were out there all night.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this ain't something we need to even ask anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important you tell us the truth about that, or something that minor, if you want to fib about that. You understand what we're saying?
Mm-hmm. But that's why I've been at the hospital.
Well, we know you went to West Florida Hospital,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't stay.
Yeah. They were taking too long, so we went to the other one. And that's where we're just not
And you
getting
stayed
home.
there. You went immediately to the other one.
Mm-hmm.
We know that's not true.
Well, that's where I went, so
I mean, you weren't home.
then I was at the hospital.
No, you were in the hospital at 1 o'clock. You just said.
Mm-hmm. At West Florida.
Where was you before that?
At home.
You know what time we picked your mother up? Like at 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock. So we were at your trailer. Your mother went inside, got the title to the car.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't there. The truck wasn't there.
Then I must have already been gone to the hospital.
Since Brittany's story is unwavering, the police decide that it's time to take another approach. But will this one be more effective than the last?
We make mistakes. I make mistakes every day. Okay? There's stuff that I do that I wish that I could take back, but I can't. But the most important thing is that we come in here and we correct our mistakes, and you understand what I'm saying? Good people, if you've done something wrong, or if you know somebody else has, may not be you. But if we've done something wrong, we come in here and we talk about it, and if you know anything, and let's get it and make it right. There's consequences now for the mistakes that we make. So if something happened, if you know something happened, if you were there, because the story you're telling us is not even close. We want to come in here and resolve this and get it taken care of the best way we can. We had somebody hurt badly. You're a grown adult, you seem like a good person. Nobody's in here saying you're a bad person, but what we're saying is something bad happened to somebody that you know. And we feel like you know what happened.
Still, Brittany sticks to her story. It was clear to detectives after the initial interviews on March 24th and the morning of the 25th that there were big gaps in everyone's timelines. Though those inconsistencies would aid them in their investigation, they needed some hard evidence and statements from others to take that next step toward actually arresting the prime suspects for attempted murder. Thankfully for investigators, there was plenty of evidence at the crime scene. Just off of Ashland Avenue, only 2 miles from the trailer park, was a gas easement set back in the woods. It was there where the most gruesome part of the crime against Adriana took place. Upon entering the easement, detectives came across tire tracks. When Tina's maroon SUV was taken in, it was found that the tires were a match for the tracks left at the scene of the crime. And that wasn't the only evidence the car provided. Spots of blood were found on the dashboard of the car, smeared across the passenger seat headrest, and speckled throughout the back seat. At the easement where the car pulled off, signs of a struggle were evident. A crowbar sat in the grass with what appeared to be blood spatter peppered over the cold iron surface. Blood and ash were found to be pooled in various spots in the grass and dirt. Pieces of clothing, burnt to an absolute crisp, were found and identified as Adriana's. Her bra was nearly unrecognizable. White napkins marred by blood were also left at the scene, as well as a pair of white shoes. There was something else alongside the weapons and blood that may sound a bit familiar. Strands of a hair weave were strewn across the scene, and they didn't belong to Adriana.
You wear a weave?
My daughter was doing it today.
Is that a weave?
It's weave.
Weave.
Weave. Yeah.
Oh, it looks real.
Thank you.
She do the little braids in it and everything? Does she do all that?
Yeah, this is my hair right here.
Oh, that's your, okay.
Yeah, she was just braiding these in, but it hurt. We've been doing it for about 3 or 4 days now, and it hurt.
Huh?
Could somebody grab me some toilet paper so I can blow my nose, please?
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
The police returned to the interview room about 30 minutes later. By now, it's around 2 in the morning, less than 12 hours after the 911 call was made, and they have a request that Tina may not even realize the importance of.
Tina, do me a favor, stand up, turn around. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Look at this right here. Oh, that's weave in there. That's weave in there. Yeah, take that out.
I told you that my daughter was...
Yeah, yeah. I didn't realize she was weaving all that in the back.
Yeah, so this is all my hair right here.
Okay, that'll work. Yeah, that'll work.
You see, the missing patch of hair on the back of Tina's head was a match for the hair left at the scene of the brutal attack. It's likely that as Adriana bravely fought for her life, she managed to pull out the chunk of Tina's hair. And if the matching hair wasn't damning enough, at the scene of the crime, investigators found perhaps the most critical piece of evidence in the case. a black taser lying in the grass, which brought up an important question. Who owned the taser? As you can imagine, no one from the mobile home park could quite agree on an answer. Though they were eager to throw one another under the bus, their discussion of the taser gives a glimpse of the possible motive behind the gruesome crime and provides a look at how dysfunctional their relationships were leading up to the attack on Adriana. In Tina's first interrogation, mere hours after the attack, investigators ask if she recalls police visiting to speak to Adriana about problems in the trailer park the previous week.
You know, the police came out there last week to talk to her about the problems she had in her neighborhood.
Yeah, they talked to me too.
Okay. So you were there. What was the problem?
Her and another girl come out there to fight Adriana because Adriana was supposed to have gotten smart with her on the phone.
Okay.
And Adriana's boyfriend was there, Andre Smith, and he sent Adriana in the house. No, he came outside the house, and he was saying that I was in the middle of that, which I didn't even know the white girl. And then he said, he cussed all the kids out and me that was outside. And he told Adriana to go in the house and get that thing or whatever. She came back outside on the porch. She was on the porch cussing, and she came out in the walkway, and she tried to tase my daughter.
Who tried to tase your daughter?
Adriana.
Adriana got a taser? What kind of taser?
I just think it was a black one.
A black one?
She said that,
You seen it?
Yeah, everybody out
describe
there
it
saw
for
it.
me.
I just know it was black.
Okay.
And it made a loud noise.
Okay.
Everybody out there saw it.
Heather has a different story about who owned the taser, however, and Tina isn't going to like it.
Does Brittany have any problems with Ariana?
Adriana had got into it, and Adriana tried to tase her. That's all that Brittany had told me. Adriana, they had got into it, and Adriana tried to tase her.
How long ago was this?
I think that was like 3 weeks ago. They had got into it.
What kind of taser she got? Who has the taser?
Brittany had a taser. Brittany had a taser.
Did the taser belong to Brittany?
I'm not sure.
What that taser look like?
I seen it once before. It was big. It was long. It was a long taser. It was made.
What color?
Black.
Okay.
It was black. It was probably about that long. It had like little things on the side of it. I never seen the taser before. That was the first time I ever seen it. When I seen it.
How you know it was Brittany's?
Brittany had it, so I don't know.
Have you ever seen Brittany with that taser before this?
No. Today was the first time I seen her with it.
You saw Tina today with
or today?
Today was the first time.
Today you saw Tina.
I seen Brittany with it on the counter earlier.
Today.
Earlier today, it was laying on a counter
In
at
her
the house.
in Tina's house.
And I seen that taser, and I asked her. I said, "What is that taser for?" And they told me to stay out of grown folks' business.
You can hear the uncertainty in her voice when she says no with an upward inflection. When she repeats her answers, it's clear that she's attempting to make them sound more affirmative and honest, and she's trying to solidify her story.
No, today was the first time I seen her with. Today was the first time.
Today you saw Tina? Was Tina there?
Tina was outside.
She didn't hear us say that?
No.
When you asked her about that?
Tina was outside. Tina always telling me to stay out of grown folks' business.
When the investigators returned to question Tina after speaking with Heather, they had new information to use against her in their quest for answers.
We talked to you earlier about the taser.
I told you about taser.
What'd you tell me about that taser?
That Brittany and the day that a white girl came over to fight Adriana, that Andre told Adriana to go get that thing, and she went in the house and got taser.
Okay.
Tried to tase Brittany with it.
Okay. What about the taser that was over at your house today?
Taser at my house?
I
don't know about it.
You don't know about a taser at your house?
No,
I've been told about a taser at your house.
I didn't know it was there.
You don't know anything about it, huh?
Tina is extremely uncomfortable with this topic of conversation. She repeats back the question, which has the same sort of effect as a pause. It gives her more time to contemplate her answer. She keeps her hands perfectly placed in her lap, which is extremely atypical in normal conversation and indicates she is in a state of cognitive overload as a result of having to think very hard about what she should say. We don't observe these types of responses in individuals who are volunteering information from actual memory, and her odd behavior certainly hasn't gone unnoticed by the investigators.
Heather's telling me that she always has to protect Adriana from you and your daughter. You and your daughter chasing around all over the place. Your daughter has a taser. She saw the taser over at your house today.
My baby don't have a taser. We never had a taser.
I don't know. That's what she's telling me. Why is she telling me that?
I don't know. We never had a taser, sir. Adriana had a taser. We never had a taser. My baby was tased.
Y'all stories are getting further and further apart.
Like I said, Adriana tried to tase Brittany with the taser. Brittany has a scratch across her chest right here. That I was grabbing Brittany from off the porch so that they wouldn't fight. I told you we were best friends in that trailer park in the beginning.
That's funny, because Heather says that her and Adriana are best friends and that you and Adriana don't get along and that you and Adriana are constantly having problems and that you and your daughter have been chasing Adriana around this trailer park, trying to hurt her, and that you have a taser in your house. And that taser was Brittany's taser, and that Brittany had chased
when the police come out there.
Around.
If you can check back when the police came out there, Adriana called the police that day.
Okay.
I told the police what happened. The same thing I'm telling you is that Adriana tried to tase Brittany with the taser. The same thing I'm telling you, Adriana called the police that day.
And you want to press charges?
No, what'd I say?
I don't know.
No, actually, no. They didn't even come out there to press charges. They told us to just cool it out. For us to stay on our side, for her to stay on that side. That's what
I
we
talked
said.
to the officer who came out there that night.
Was supposed to be leaving town. She was not going to be here for long.
Okay, right. Because I talked to that officer. He told me exactly that. Okay. But he told me that Adriana did not wish to pursue charges against y'all.
Well, he never asked us about pressing charges. He just said for us to cool it out because he's tired of coming out here.
He didn't ask you because you weren't the one bringing forth the charges. She was.
Okay.
Her.
Why would I bring charges? I didn't.
No, you weren't.
I know
she was going to bring charges against y'all for attacking her.
But we didn't attack her.
But
so
that's what
was she needing to? Her boyfriend. Adriana's boyfriend told her to go get that thing. Adriana was standing on the porch arguing. She wasn't even thinking about going to get a taser. He told her to go get that thing. We didn't know what that thing was until she came outside with it. I didn't know she had a taser.
Then why is Heather saying that she sees the taser in your house and that Brittany has it and that Brittany has tried to... I know where it is right now. It's in my evidence locker.
Okay, well then how do we have it?
Because Heather says you have it.
Where get a taser from? We don't even know nobody here. We don't have no family here. Only people we know is the people in the trailer park. Where would we get a taser from?
I don't know. You can buy them all over the place. They sell them at pawn shops and everywhere else.
As you can see, Tina is growing frustrated with Heather throwing her daughter under the bus. Brittany, however, seems a lot less upset about it.
We have information that you and Andrea, that y'all argued a lot. And y'all fought. Your mom had to break you up one time. Is this true?
Yeah.
What was y'all fighting about?
I have the slightest idea. If you really want to know the truth, somebody else was there to fight her. We were outside to watch it. She gets mad and she tries to tase me.
We have Heather saying that the taser belonged to you. She's seen it at your house.
Okay.
Is this the truth or a lie?
It's a lie. Only time I've seen a taser is when Adriana tried to tase me that night, that day, Mom had to separate us.
And how long ago was that?
2 weeks ago. Something like that.
Is that when you almost had to fight on the porch?
Yeah.
You ever seen a stun gun over in anybody's house?
Yeah.
Where you seen one at?
Zimmerman's house.
Okay. That's interesting you say that, because your wife says she saw it over at Tina's house. So your wife's telling us all this stuff that makes Tina look bad. And you're telling us that it was at Zimmerman's house, right?
It was gave to her.
It was gave to her by who?
Andre Smith.
Andre Smith gave her a taser.
Yeah.
Where's Andre Smith?
He locked up.
He locked. Is that her boyfriend or her husband?
My boyfriend.
Boyfriend. And describe it. Well, actually, I already described it, didn't I? Can't really ask you to describe it.
Like you got tape on it because the back part missing.
Oh, yeah? Who put the tape on? Who put the tape on?
Who put the tape on?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who put the tape on.
You mentioned some tape.
Because there's tape on there. On that tape.
All right. But you saw it with tape on there because the back's missing. So, I mean, you seeing a taser and there's tape on it is one thing. You seeing a taser and knowing the reason for the tape being on it is a totally different thing.
Exactly.
So how come you know that the back is missing? Was this explained to you, or did you see it put on, or do you know?
No, I seen the tape.
Okay. But like I said, seeing tape, if you saw tape on this recorder on here, you wouldn't necessarily know that the tape's on there to keep the battery in place.
If you ain't got no back part, I know.
It doesn't have no back part. Okay. So it has no back plate and tape's on it.
Yeah.
Okay. That does make sense. All right. So Andre Smith gave it to her.
Yeah.
Where does she normally keep it?
In a cabinet.
Where?
In the top cabinet. By the refrigerator.
And who else would know this?
Whoever been in the house.
Why, she go, hey, here's where I keep my taser?
No, because she was like always pulling it out and be playing with it.
Really? Well, she made threats with people or something?
No, she just be playing. You know? Now, I ain't gonna lie, at one point in time, everybody was cool with everybody.
Strangely enough, Darren's story aligns more closely with Tina's than with his own wife's. It's possible that Heather is trying to frame Tina, while Darren is telling the truth so he doesn't get himself into trouble. The taser incident between Adriana and Brittany is just one domino falling in the long line of conflict that led to the attack of Adriana. A compounding of incidents that will unravel, revealing an absurd motive. Following the first round of interrogations, everyone was released and sent home, unaware of just how much evidence was rapidly stacking up against them. And though they weren't talking freely to police, they sure were talking to people in their lives, people they probably shouldn't have been trusting. On April 7th, 2010, officers received a call from one of Tina's relatives in Illinois. They refused to identify themselves and stated that they had information to disclose about the case. According to the source, Tina called her mother 2 days after the attack and admitted that she, Brittany, and Heather beat Adriana. She managed to scramble away, which caused a heated argument between Tina and Brittany. Brittany tackled Adriana as she made one last attempt to escape into the woods, and it was then that Tina lit her on fire. Tina, Heather, and Brittany callously fled. Though Brittany realized she left her shoes at the scene of the crime as they drove away, Tina told her it was too late to turn around. Afterward, Tina ordered Brittany to leave the area and stay away until the police were gone. Brittany took that time to take care of some evidence, washing the car interior with hand sanitizer, burning the clothes they were wearing, and disposing of the lighter fluid. While telling her relatives the story, Tina didn't appear to have much remorse whatsoever for her actions. When her relatives urged her to turn herself in so the law would potentially go easy on Brittany, Tina told them that even if Adriana died, they'd be fine because the cops had no real evidence against them. But on the late night of April 8th, only 1 day after that call was made to the police, Adriana tragically passed away, her family by her side, having never woken from the coma she fell into. She died just 5 days before her 20th birthday and never had the opportunity to turn her life around. The attempted murder that police were almost certain Tina, Brittany, and Heather had committed had turned into a homicide. On the same day that Adriana passed, even more evidence against the 3 women was brought to light. Police received a call from a high school classmate of Brittany's named Regine, stating that she had been being harassed by Brittany and Tina regarding the case. When police reported to the high school, Regine stated she had received multiple calls from both Brittany and Tina, trying to convince her to pose as Brittany during a polygraph test. so that Brittany could pass. The police were almost certain they were the culprits, but the question of why they committed these terrible crimes in the first place remained to be answered. To get to the bottom of it, both Brittany and Tina were interviewed immediately after their arrests.
Tina, you remember me? And this investigator, Tyree. You know what this is all about.
However, instead of starting with questions, they begin by giving her some information.
Now we're going to tell you what we think happened. Good, Tom.
On that particular night, you, Brittany, and Heather were gotten in a verbal altercation, a physical altercation with Adriana Zimmerman. Okay. The fight kind of escalated a little bit, got out of hand. She was attacked with a pry bar, whatever you want to call it, crowbar. And then she was disabled with a stun gun and then set on fire.
And all this was supposed to happen in the trailer park and nobody heard it.
Not at the trailer. I didn't say at the trailer park. I'm saying during that night. It originated at the trailer park. You, Brianna, Brittany, Heather, and maybe one or two other people transported her over to the Ashland Avenue on the gas lines, and that's where the
what? What?
Ashland Avenue.
What is that?
It's out another road over by the house. And that's where it went bad. We got information that you're involved in it.
It's true they do in fact have some groundbreaking information. You see, there's a very specific reason that Tina was sought out by investigators, and when they finally divulge it, she's going to be absolutely shocked.
Like this, Tina.
Listen.
Not only did our victim name you,
You know
first
what?
and
We
last
went
name,
and talked to those
not
people
only
yesterday.
did they name Heather, not only did they name your daughter, you've also told people. You know, that's how we know the story too.
Me?
Yeah. Why don't you let me finish telling?
Okay.
Okay. We hear that you used lighter fluid, poured it on her and lit her up. And you're mad at Brittany because she got up off the girl, and that's how she got up and got to run away.
I'm mad at my baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What else, sir?
Yeah.
What else? What else is it?
She told two people.
Who?
She told the fire chief and she told the EMS supervisor.
Okay. Now, when did she do that?
Right before they put her under.
I got to talking to her and I told her that I was probably gonna be the last person she talked to for a while, and that in order to catch the people that did this to her, I needed her to tell me if she knew who it was. She told me yes, and she named 3 girls, a Tina, a Heather, and a Brittany. She did not give me last names. And I asked her why they did it to her, and she said, I thought we'd made up.
If Adriana's supposed to have told these people this, wouldn't you think that she would have told them everything that can happen if you laying on the ground and you burning up and you about to die?
She told everything she could was the pain she was in at that time, and they didn't give her long because they had to put her out. She said, you know, EMS supervisor told her, she kept asking her, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it? She said, I'm gonna do the best we can for you.
The detectives have become privy to some other damning information that they share with Tina, and it's all about to come crashing down on her.
You ain't going around here telling people you killed that girl. You're talking to your relatives and telling them that, and they calling us. But you're talking to somebody and telling them that, well, she go ahead and die, and y'all be good to go. Well, that ain't the case, is it? Because she died. She died last night. Succumbs to her wounds.
They told us that she was in a coma yesterday.
She died last night.
She died last night. Why do you think we come back out there like gangbusters today?
Mm-hmm. That's why you're under arrest for murder.
Dad was the one who told us that.
Who?
Our lawyer's Gene, his dad. He said he called down there and they said that she was in a deep coma.
Well, she didn't come out of it. But guess what? We got information from the ME that she didn't make it because of the burns. Now you sit there, you think about it. You think about what we're saying. That woman, those kids would never see their mama again. You've got a chance to see your
You
kids.
think I don't know that?
You got a chance to see your kids again somewhere down the road. Now, like I said, we're not gonna sit here with you as long as we did the other night. Maybe you didn't mean for it to be this way, but that's what I said. We don't know. So you need us to be able to tell your side of the story when it comes time to go before the judge. And by you just sitting over there, not, thinking we don't have nothing, we've only gave you a little bit of what we got. And believe me, it's not hearsay. We know that that night, those clothes were taken and burned that y'all were wearing.
Burn where? We still had the same clothes on the next morning when they came to get us.
Don't you have 2 small children? You know these children?
Yes, I know them.
Okay. This is their mama they ain't never gonna see again.
And that oldest one, I think the oldest one was a boy, correct? He saw this. He saw the stuff going down at the trailer park that night.
No, when those people said those babies was locked up in the room.
I'm saying they saw all the commotion with us at their all's house that night. They were sitting in that patrol car. They knew something was wrong. Have you ever heard of a dying declaration?
No.
That's powerful. I'm gonna tell you now. When we walk out this door this afternoon, next time you see me, we'll be in a courtroom.
Either way it go, I ain't going home. So, right.
But Tina, I don't want to walk out this door.
I want to talk, but I'm not saying nothing what I want to tell.
I couldn't hear what you said.
What'd you say?
Usually when I'm talking to somebody about a murder that's happened, and I'm giving them that advice that I think they should talk to me, because I realize it's probably one of the last things you want to talk to a person about. And certainly you don't want to tell the cops about it. But I think the thing that keep in mind and what I reiterate to these people is that, if there's circumstances, if there's a reasoning behind this that could be mitigating, I mean, if there's a reason why this happened that, shows why you did this, it had to be agonizing. And then to run a distance that she ran, because we know, the burnt clothes and her shoes and everything is right there in the woods. To run that distance to a house and beg for help and to wait there, still cooking, for the ambulance to get there. And then the last thing you're saying is, besides telling who your accusers are, am I going to see my kids? Am I going to live? Those are your last questions before you're knocked out and told, hey, you may or may not talk to somebody again.
In one last-ditch effort to get a confession or some semblance of remorse from Tina, a detective presents her with a photo of Adriana's charred body.
Just let me tell you something. That's her body. Hey, let me look at. I want you to look at him so I know you understand what I'm saying. The medical staff and the medical examiner's office didn't even know if this girl was white or black female or white female, because she was so burnt so bad. They didn't have a copy of our report at the time. You wouldn't want this to happen to you, would you? You wouldn't want to go out this way, would you? Huh? Okay, we're gonna transport you across the street. Just hands right there right now.
Tina doesn't budge. However, the photos have clearly had an effect on her. After she's left in the room waiting to be taken to jail, she mumbles haunting things to herself through her sobs, even seemingly calling out to Adriana. The words she chooses to use are bone-chilling.
Adriana, Lord have mercy.
come back. And Hunt was terrorized. Please, Adriana. Adriana. I told you. Oh, you was a sweet girl. Oh, I tried to avoid.
The question of why they committed these terrible crimes in the first place remained to be answered. As it turns out, there were numerous alleged love triangles within the trailer park. All of the dirty truth, it seems, began making its way to the surface. Not only did Adriana reportedly tell Heather that Tina was sleeping with Darren, but allegedly Adriana herself was sleeping with Darren. And Heather had confronted her about it. It's a messy web of cheating and lies, one that Darren is surprisingly transparent about. However, he leaves out something that came out during the trial. According to Tina, she only slept with Darren in exchange for substances.
Tell me what was going on. There's been a discussion between us about an accusation flying around between you being accused of sleeping with your neighbor and friend of your wife. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Tina Brown.
Tina Brown, okay. So the accusation is that you've been sleeping with Tina Brown, and who has been making these accusations?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Has Andrina Zimmerman been making those accusations?
Yes, my wife told me that. She told me that today.
Okay, so your wife told you that Andriana had reported to her that you've been sleeping with Tina Brown. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
If you recall, in Darren's video interrogation with police, he dilly-dallied on the phone while he was unashamedly talking and laughing with someone who wasn't his wife.
I will call you right back, man.
You done?
Yeah.
All right. Was that Heather?
Lieutenant Ronan.
Huh?
I was Lieutenant Ronan, man.
Oh, sorry. When you said you were on the phone with your sugar thing or whatever just now, was it Tina you were talking to?
No, it was somebody else.
Okay. But you told me that night you were seeing Tina.
Yeah.
Okay. So is she not your sugar thing?
Yeah, that's my old mama.
Okay. That's the old mama. Okay. All right. Did you and Ms. Zimmerman have any kind of relationship?
Somewhere.
Okay. Did y'all have?
Somewhere.
Okay. This ain't like Monica Lewinsky, man. We you know, did you have sex with her or did?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had sexual intercourse with Ms. Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Did your wife know of this?
No.
Did your wife know of you having sex with Tina?
No.
I bet she don't know about this other thing you got on the side of this judge. Okay. Okay. So, have you been accused by Heather of having sex with Zimmerman?
No.
Okay.
Only Tina.
Did Tina make any accusations? I mean, Tina probably knows that you're sleeping with Zimmerman, doesn't she? Okay, so none of you girls know that you're sleeping with the other one. You're doing a good game, right? Okay. So, Heather is aware of the accusations of you having sex with Tina.
Yeah.
But her and Tina are still tight cooking fish together. See, that's what blows my mind, man. You got a good game going on. If them two, knowing the accusation there, you still got them over there cooking fish together. Either you got a good game or Tina does, because you're playing it off well. So, you know, me and Rusty sat there and laughed about that all night, but we couldn't figure out how you were getting away with that, man, because our wives would, you know, we'd be done. They'd have our cars and our boats and everything else, you know. So you getting away with it.
On May 10th, soon after Tina, Heather, and Brittany were arrested, the police received a letter from an incarcerated man who said he knew who killed Adriana and what the true motive was for the heinous crime. He stated that several months prior to the murder, he bought an illegal substance from Darren at the Roadway Inn. He alleged that Adriana was with Darren in the hotel room while the illegal transaction took place. According to him, Heather arrived and threatened Adriana with a box cutter, reportedly yelling that she would get Adriana sooner or later. Fortunately, their day in court came sooner rather than later. During the trial, it was revealed that the murder was even more disturbing than police could have imagined. Adriana had been lured to the trailer by Tina under the guise of rekindling their friendship. When she arrived, Tina used the stun gun on her and dragged her to the bedroom. There, Heather stuffed a sock in her mouth, and Brittany beat her. When they drove her to the woods, Brittany and Tina took turns tasing her until Tina poured gasoline on her and lit her on fire. According to Heather, as the fire started, Tina jumped up and down, exclaiming, "Burn, bitch, burn." Tina Brown received a death sentence for her crimes against her former friend, making her one of only 3 women on Florida's death row. Though Brittany was 16 at the time of the murder, she was sentenced to life in prison. Heather took a plea bargain, testifying against Tina in order to receive only 25 years for the second-degree murder she was convicted of. At the time of this video, Tina has filed a motion to have her death sentence thrown out because of false testimony at her trial. According to Tina and a witness at the trial, the witness was coerced by Heather to testify that Tina had confessed to her in jail that she was the mastermind behind Adriana's murder. Heather reportedly threatened the witness, forcing her to say that Heather was present but had nothing to do with the murder. To this day, the former friends are spinning rumors about each other and trying to climb over one another to reach salvation. Only time will tell what the law will decide. But one thing is for certain, this brutal yet petty crime against Adriana should never have happened.
We wanted to survive the coming up apocalypse.
So wait, they're in a like a red box or in a blue bucket like you two?
In a red box. Did they call them their wives? He goes, yeah, he called them their wives and make his stuff.
Anybody that left would be killed.
I'll take it up in the helicopter and throw it out. We're just dangling, so it tells us where the hell they are.
Did you get the 4 kids that were in a barrel?
I don't have
No more little girls out here.
No.
When Utah police were contacted by a concerned mother and informed that her ex-husband wasn't giving her their kids even though she had custody of them, they thought this would be a routine domestic dispute. Little did they know that they were stepping into a twisted world of lies, unimaginable violence, and doomsday cults that would lead to one of the most disturbing cases they had ever encountered. In September of 2017, Clark Christensen, the police chief of Spring City, Utah, was approached by Micah Coltharp and asked to do a wellness check at her in-laws' home. She explained that she was separated from her husband, John Coltharp, and that he and their 4 children currently all lived with John's parents, Keith and Catherine. Micah had tried to call John about seeing the kids, but his phone, his parents' phones, and the home phone had all been disconnected. Chief Christensen went over to the house to see if everything was okay, and as far as he could tell, it looked like the family had just set off for a vacation without telling anyone. Micah was insistent that something was wrong. The following never-before-seen footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed attorney, a licensed clinical psychologist, a former licensed professional counselor, and a licensed professional counselor. Hoping to get some background on John, the seeming mastermind behind everything, detectives decided to talk to Micah and her mother.
I met John right after I turned 16. He was 21, and, we liked each other and wanted to start dating, and of course, Mom said no. Yeah, so Keith and Kathy would allow us to meet in secret and lie to them, and they didn't care that I was underage or anything like that. When I met John, I was going through a lot of stuff, and very depressed, and looking for answers, and I was taking religion classes in high school and stuff, and when he came home from his mission, it's he had all the answers. Everywhere I went to, everyone was like, oh, this is what we believe, and he was like, no, this is answer, and had proof and evidence, and it was answers for why the horrible things in my life were happening. And it was to the point where for the first time in a long time, I actually felt comforted and felt right and felt like things were going to be okay. So he lures you in with these promises of grandeur and happiness and reason for things. And then once you are in, it's now if you don't follow everything I say, these are the horrible, awful consequences. In the government conspiracy is if we get, taken by police, our kids are going to be, and murdered and put in the system and like every single day of my life. That's all he would talk about. That's all he would research. He would have people over, all these different kinds of people talking about like earthquakes and different calamities, solar flares, planetary alignments, and all the reasons for why the world was.
Given John's strange obsession and her growing concern for her children, Micah worked with one of her husband John's siblings, Heather, to get a spare key to the house. Chief Christensen entered the house with Micah, and they immediately knew that this was more than just a family taking a spontaneous vacation. Something truly terrible was going on. The house had been completely ransacked. All of the furniture, ranging from mattresses to couches, had been taken, and even the photos were missing off the walls. Oddly, the electronics, including TVs and computers, had been left discarded in the house. Chief Christensen talked with John's sister Heather to determine if she had any idea what could have happened to John, Keith, Catherine, and the kids. Not only was she just as surprised as they were, but she had even more shocking information to share with them. The grandparents had banned all of their other children and grandchildren from visiting after John had moved back in. Worried that the children might be in danger, Chief Christensen began asking around the neighborhood to see if anyone knew why the Coltharps had left. According to one of Keith's friends, the family had been seen packing everything into a U-Haul the previous day, and Keith himself had said that they were moving to Cedar City because something bad was happening. Micah's mother further elaborated how tumultuous Micah's life had been ever since she met John.
I have not liked him from the day I met him, and he knows it because he's got such a freaking cocky attitude that he comes to get what he wants out of it. His social skills lack in a big way, and he offends me at every turn. But my daughter, on the other hand, was under mind control, and she was married when she was 19. She was baptized when she was 18, and he performed the baptism. It was a shock to us. We chose not to disown her, but to accept her and her choices and see how far it went. And we forbid political conversation and religious conversation in our home. But one day they walked in and they were both in flowing black coats, black clothes, black overalls. She was pregnant, and they walked in and John started talking about black helicopters, mercenaries taking over and shooting everybody, all this wacko stuff and creating all this stuff in his head. And we were just like, oh my God. And then he said he'd lost his job. He couldn't make enough money to support a family, and they informed us they were moving here. And I couldn't say anything about it. She was 19 years old. We came out here and I even drove out with them. They packed a giant U-Haul and I drove his car, and he drove us into an apartment he rented over the internet. And we pulled into this low-class, unkept neighborhood into an apartment that had been occupied by college students who had spilled beer and peed all over the floor, never been cleaned. And John walked in, and Micah was a few months pregnant, sick as a dog, and he looked at her and he's like, better start cleaning. I was angry, and I knew what I was in for right then and there. She wouldn't listen to me until a couple years ago. She just got a driver's license 2 years ago. That's how much she's kept her back. She barely finished high school. He talked her into giving up her college education and her graduate school. And everything she's ever attempted to do, he's shamed her out of or done something to take her, away from public eye. Doesn't allow his children in public. He doesn't want them getting people's germs. He doesn't want them getting people's opinions.
This is troubling, but not particularly surprising. It's the grandiosity, sense of entitlement, and exploitative nature of people with antisocial personality disorder that often leads to them treating others, particularly their romantic partners, as their property, rather than a human being with individual rights and autonomy. It also makes sense that he would try to hinder any accomplishments, like a driver's license or schooling, as these would provide her with independence from him and potentially expose her to a world outside of John and his delusions. With no way to contact or find them, Micah was terrified that her kids might be in some sort of danger. So Chief Christensen advised her to get a lawyer and a divorce, as currently she and John were still married, and he had every right to go somewhere with his kids. After a tumultuous process, Micah was finally granted a divorce and given full custody of the children on November 27th, over a month after John had disappeared with them. Unfortunately, now it was time for the hard part, finding John and getting the kids from him. In the time it took Micah to get a divorce, a few neighbors had spotted John going back to his parents' house to pick things up before disappearing again. Knowing that John had to show up again eventually, Chief Christensen began sitting outside of the Coltharps' home, waiting for his chance to speak with John. Around midnight on December 1st, John finally showed up at his parents' house again. However, this time, he wasn't alone. With him was Samuel Schaefer, a close friend of his. When Chief Christensen approached the two men and asked why they were there, they told him that they were picking up Micah's death certificate. As Micah was not dead, and Chief Christensen obviously knew this, it became clear that the two men were trying to hide something. But the extent of the horrors they were covering up couldn't even be imagined at this point. When John refused to tell him where the children were so they could be given over to Micah, Chief Christensen had John arrested. Despite his worry that Sam was involved in some way, he had nothing to hold Sam on and had to let him go. This would prove to have tragic consequences. John declined when asked to speak to detectives, asking for a lawyer and refusing to cooperate. Eventually, though, the police were able to locate Keith and Catherine's cars on a compound near Lund, where John and Sam had been living not only with John's parents and 4 children, but also with Sam's 2 daughters. The compound was raided on December 3rd, and the authorities were disgusted by the living conditions that they found there. The storage containers that made up the compound were riddled with filth, trash, and clutter. Boxes and containers lined the floor, and dirt had been caked onto every surface. Among the junk and the refuse of the compound, there were signs of the children. Children's clothes, toys, and drawings could be found throughout the storage containers. However, there was no sign of any of the 6 children themselves. After dedicated searching, the police were able to find John's 2 sons alongside their grandparents, Keith and Catherine. Strangely, the 2 young boys' hair was so filled with tree sap that everyone thought they'd have to shave their heads. While 2 children being recovered was good news, the fate of the 4 girls was still unknown. Keith and Catherine were questioned about the location of the girls, but they insisted that Sam had hidden them, and they had no idea where he or any of the girls were. While they hadn't been able to find all of the children, the police did find something else that gave them insight into this whole strange situation in the form of a binder. The papers within the binder contained the rules and beliefs for a fundamentalist cult named the Knights of the Crystal Blade. The cult not only took beliefs from the Mormon religion, but also simultaneously believed in Norse gods and Roman gods. While the cult did take beliefs from several religions, it's important to remember that they weren't formally associated with or accepted by any of these religions. With further reading into the binder, authorities learned that John and Sam were not only a part of this cult, but they had actually started it. According to the binder, Sam was a seer for the cult, with many of his strange so-called revelations listed for authorities to read. John was the group's leader, and according to the cult's rules, he was to be worshipped like a god. Apparently, John had foreseen an impending end, though the details of what that meant wouldn't be revealed until later. Discovering John and Sam's involvement in cult activity was highly concerning to authorities, and an Amber Alert was put out for the 4 missing girls. While one team stayed on the ground, desperately trying to find them, another set of detectives decided to talk to Micah and her mother, as well as John's parents, hoping to get some background on John, the seeming mastermind behind everything. Through these interviews, the investigators soon discovered that all this talk about the coming apocalypse was a chilling cover for something far more horrifying than anything they could have imagined.
So how did John get custody of the children, or how did he get physical possession of the children, and when was that?
So we lived in an apartment that had an upstairs and a downstairs, and how we broke it down was he lived upstairs, I lived downstairs, and the kids, go fairly between the two, and he worked during the day and I worked at night. So the second he got home from work, I left. So there was always someone there with the kids, and we decided, okay, we'll just co-parent. And I wanted a divorce. He said, no, we have to wait. Let's wait till, at least the new year, and then we can have a whole, fiscal year, and then it won't be all messed up on taxes. And I was like, all right, fine, because I couldn't afford it anyway. I didn't have a dime in my name. We were in $40,000 of debt, the majority of which was spent on survival gear, anything he wanted for his computers.
What year was that?
This year.
Okay. This year? And where were you living? Where's your apartment?
Provo.
Provo? Okay.
So.
Is that where you live now? Same apartment or different?
Different apartment.
Okay.
The reason I don't live there anymore is because end of May, he came to me and told me that he was fired and that his company was going out of business. After he went missing, I talked to his boss and he goes, oh, no, he quit. We begged him to stay. He said he had a family emergency. So he came to me and he goes, I've lost my job. We can't afford the apartment anymore without my income. I have decided I no longer want to be a member of this society. I am no longer working. I'm going to live off my parents' Social Security. So I've already called the landlord. We have to be out in a couple weeks. I'm taking the kids to San Pete, and you're going to come with me. And I said, I don't have a job down there. There are no jobs. Someone has to take care of the kids. He goes, you don't need to worry about that. My parents are going to pay for it. We'll live off our food storage. I'm like, the kids need clothes. They need food that is nutritious. They need all these things. They have to have a future. We can't just give up everything. And he's like, well, then you're on your ass. I was working 65 hours a week. So I was working so much to make money and take food and clothes down there on the weekends, and that's the only time I got to see them. I was working at a place called Elevate Health Sciences, and he didn't care because the world was going to end.
So prior to that, did they go to any public schools?
No, he refused to let me do anything. I agreed with
So they've been homeschooled their entire life?
I agreed with homeschooling to a point because they were young, and it got to the point where John wouldn't allow the kids to socialize with any of the neighborhood kids, or even with the cousins, because he was such a germaphobe. He didn't want anyone to get sick. And then it got to the point where I was like, all right, I've taught them as much as I can personally. I'm not a teacher. I tried. This is very hard for me, and especially with kids 4 different ages. They need something more. I can't do this. They need something beyond what I can give them. And he refused to give them any sort of tutoring, schooling, whatever. He's like, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. None of them can read. None of them can do math. They're bright kids. And when I would try to talk to him about teaching, all he wanted to teach about was, like, religion.
It's hard to imagine that John's parents, or anyone for that matter, would be willing to let him move in and continue to treat his children this way. But as the detectives were about to discover, Keith and Catherine Coltharp had an interesting story of their own to tell.
I do have a question. Are we being charged with something tonight?
At this point, all my job is to do is get the facts. I don't know if there's anything. I would like to just speak with you and get this whole story. This is a mess.
All right.
You know, it's keeping your right to mind.
Yeah, and my wife and I both were just really beside ourselves with all this because we thought we didn't know we were doing anything wrong either.
Right.
We don't think we've done anything wrong. In fact, we're just taking care of our kids.
Okay.
It's obvious that even though Keith is positive he hasn't done anything wrong, he's still nervous that he and his wife might be getting in trouble. Part of his anxiety might be due to the layout of the room. Keith is literally backed into a corner with his access to the door blocked, which may make him feel trapped, anxious, or defensive. The Reid technique, a popular method of interrogation in the U.S., recommends that investigators not be seated between the subject and the door to prevent false imprisonment claims. Otherwise, the room conditions appear to be consistent with a typical interrogation room, stark and minimal. There's no barrier for Keith to hide behind, such as a table, so the detective is able to observe all his movements. Just like her husband, Catherine is insistent that they haven't done anything wrong. However, further questioning will prove that this might not be the whole truth. After both parents have been read their Miranda rights, detectives work with them to get a timeline on the family fleeing to the compound.
I guess for quite a while, myself and my husband had been, looking at the world events and everything, and, we read the scriptures and saw the prophecies of the end times and everything, and John was always talking to us. He was always talking to us about that stuff, and so we were into it. It was interesting, and, we believed that, we're probably near the end of times, and we wonder how the Lord's going to gather his people to safety and all that. John started talking to us and telling us that he had received revelations that we are to gather out because things are going to start happening.
So in this process, it got to a point where Micah was demanding to pick up the kids and take them to her apartment in Provo with a guy that she's living in with there, and John wouldn't put up with that. He said, no. He says, we got to leave. So within 2 days, we had a U-Haul van, and we're loading everything up, taking stuff out of our house, and we were out of there.
The revelations
he'd gotten on the end times and we're supposed to get out of Babylon, and her wanting to take the kids, we said, okay, let's go. And we didn't think it was illegal to take the kids since he had them.
At the compound, officers continue to look for the missing children, but their endeavors have hit a dead end. John continued to refuse to cooperate with authorities, leaving the officers with no choice but to rely solely on tips from the Amber Alert. Additionally, they're banking on any insights gleaned from Catherine and Keith's interviews, hoping they might offer a hint or clue to the whereabouts of Sam and the missing girls. Back at the station, not only do detectives now have a better idea of why and when the family packed up and moved to the compound, they've also gained a lot more insight into John as a person. First of all, it seems likely that John described Micah in a very negative light to his parents in order to elicit their help. He may have wanted them to see him as the victim in the situation, so they would be sympathetic toward him. Yet, as Keith is about to admit, John didn't just rescue his parents from the supposed apocalypse because he loved them.
He got a commitment from us before we left that we were going to support him and support this whole thing with regards to the United
So by
States.
support him, what does that mean to you?
He was in charge. We had to vote to allow him to be in charge.
But financially, who was paying for it all?
Me.
You
He
were?
took all the money.
He had you make a commitment to support him financially and support his costs?
Yeah.
By doing that, did you close your bank accounts and stuff too, or?
No, in fact, I left all the credit open that I had. In fact, I was almost debt free. It's really upsetting about all this whole thing. But so what he did is he had me stop making mortgage payments and stop paying the bills and run all my credit cards all the way up. He bought a Chevy Suburban from that place in Cedar City, black, fresh. Yeah, and it's a 2016 Suburban.